Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
I'm fine. Okay, thank you. So back to what I was saying was that uh, I don't want to see the Mullens investors lose their money. I mean, I've had people text me saying that their stocks have gone from 100,000 down to $220. Just sad story. And I want to make sure I'm not out to hurt Mullens. There are people that have jobs. This is the Christmas holiday season. Unlike me, I'm going to be fine. I am fine. But if they lose their jobs, that's not going to be good. My problem is, and I hope David is listening, you knew I was very honest with you when I came in. I was very transparent. I was very transparent with the party, James Taylor. Everyone, my team was very transparent. We were so loyal and faithful to you. Now let's just tell it like it is. Since y'all get bits and pieces and people want to twist it and make it to their benefit. We were already working on assignments, okay? And this deal with Mullens ended up going from $20 million to pay me. If I'm not mistaken, it may have been $30 million that I was supposed to be getting paid. And it went down to $5 million. I was really ready to walk away. Then they made a deal where they would pay me like $1,200 per unit, okay? My lawyers had already done their due diligence on Mullens, and they had advised me not to enter into a contract with Mullens. The CEO of my company said, well, you know, I got a good relationship with Mr. Taylor and some of the people that's involved with Mullens. He goes back with his Secret Service in the military, highly ranked, and you know, they just kind of wanted to keep it quiet. And my concern was, I said, listen, I don't want my name out there because I got a pass. Even though it's been expunged, I got a pass. And I don't want people beating up on me. Oh, no, Harge, don't worry about that. Everything is going to be fine. This is the CEO. I've already talked to everybody. They don't talk to David Mitri. It's okay. They'll make an announcement. I said, but I'm still uncomfortable with it. Don't you worry. We'll protect you or whatever. So they said, but all you have to do is come in, put your technology on their vehicles, and give Mullens a 10% increase. Okay, now let's just say this even further. I declare under the penalties of perjury that everything that I represent in this phone call is true and accurate. I wish you had a lie detector test to watch, listen, and tell you that I'm telling the truth.
Well, they're not admissible in court.
I know, but still, so David, their whole team was given, I met with their team, a bunch of engineers, and I met with them and I started, so this is how this goes even further. The engineer, there was vans in their warehouse. Matter of fact, I paid for my crew to come in every day. Each one of those engineers, I got receipts on my team that every day they came in to Mullens, it was like 5 of them in the beginning, but some of them worked outside on other projects. I paid them $600 a day to come into Mullens and work with me. They have doctors, they have masters, they have PhDs. So you can't beat up on me because my team is not a convicted felon. I directed them. We went into Mullens, okay? After we met with some of the engineers, they were talking before I was allowed on the premises to do any work. And I met with some of the engineers. They came to a meeting.
And what facility was this at? The Mishawaka?
Troy. In Troy. All right. So we go to the place and I meet with James Taylor. They had about 8, 9, 10 engineers. And they was in the room and I went to asking them questions about the vans. And there was certain questions that they couldn't answer. And the guy told me that they had been working from home for about 3 months and that Mullens had been paying them a salary till they could get things going. Okay? No problem. Okay, so what am I putting my technology on? Okay. take me to the plant. We look at the vans and all of that. I looked at the vans and I told them, because, I had already done a golf cart for Ford Motor Company. Remember now, I don't even play golf, so I'm just giving you guys the truth. When I was going back and forth with Ford Motor Company, if I'm not mistaken, said that for every 10% increase that I could increase the technology, it was worth $1 billion to them. Now, Ford can't lie. There's about 10 people that witnessed this, and even my lawyers, okay? So Ford said we was waiting on Ford. They were supposed to give me a Ford Mustang. We had a meeting with Tanaka, who's one of the top Ford engineers of the world, who was a former NASA executive, all of that. And at that time, he said that Ford had already spent a lot of money on a fuel cell battery, and now you don't come in with this technology, and we got a lot of money tied up in that. I said, well, it won't make a difference with your battery, although we have our own battery we built, but we have a technology that will work in relationship with no matter what battery you have, because it's going to store the energy, rejuvenate it, and take the load capacity off your batteries. Okay. And we told them, with the Ford Mustang, I told them, with the battery that you have, the car is still going to overheat, because these youngsters are going to go out there and drive at full speed, bring it home, the battery's still hot, they're going to plug it up in the wall, and the car is going to catch on fire. The battery's going to overheat, they don't explode. True enough, 3-4 months passed before it had that exact problem. I told them. This is all on records, guys. This is not something I just pull out of the air and make up. So Ford told me, said that, so we had a deal that they was going to give me $250,000 up front. Are you still that guy?
Yes, we can hear you.
Ford was going to give me $250,000 up front when they delivered the car, and then another $250,000 when I finished the car. Okay. So what ended up happening was the COVID hit. Ford kept having to shut down, rescheduling when they was going to give the car. So the vice president, one of the vice president of, I think it was technology engineer, Rick Schrader, that's his name. He can't deny what I'm saying. I got all the emails that says Ford Motor Company him or whatever. So during that time, Ford started demoting people, just moving them around and all of that. So that's when Ford said, Mr. Hardge, if you can take a golf cart, which has direct current, no rejuvenation system, that is better than an electric car, because we have all type of genetic technology, all of that on that generated technology on the car and all of that. But a golf cart is just strictly direct current. And this would prove out that your technology works. Okay. Matter of fact, they said, well, once you have it installed, we're going to refer you to some independent testing sites to test the golf cart. Okay. And they did. They directed me to Element. Okay. But they didn't pay for it. Okay. I had to pay for it. I paid Element over $40,000. I have my receipts to test the golf cart. I don't even play golf. Had to go out and buy a golf cart. I spent about $10,000 on the golf cart. I have my receipts. The people I purchased it from, they know me very well. They was very fond of me. They thought I was a brilliant guy, and just I knew my stuff. Okay. And what was most impressive to them was when I would tell them I only have a high school diploma. And even people with Ford and all of them said, you got to be kidding me. There's no way. I said, I've been working on batteries since I was a kid. Okay. 40 years. I'm 58 years old. Okay. So Ford said that if I could increase it 10%, it's worth $1 billion per percentage. Okay. Per 10%. I said, no problem. No problem. I'm going to make it work, and they referred me to Element. Element and I did contracts, all of that. Okay. They kept the golf cart. Okay. And some of the guys would say, well, you sure you think this is going to do that? And I said, it's been proven before, but you would be the first company that's certified it. We certified in garages and this and that, but, that's not the type of test that Ford wants. So we left the golf cart with them. They put it on camera to show that nobody would be tampering with it. And the golf cart ran at full throttle. Let me tell you what all they had on it. They turned the stereo system on. They turned the double fans on. They turned the lights on the golf cart. Everything was turned on. The back lights was on. The front headlights was on. The double fans was on, and all of that. And they put the vehicle foot to the floor. Okay. The golf cart ran 26.6 hours at full throttle. Okay. The guys even at the place said, I don't know what the hell he did, but whatever he done, these are the results. Okay. After that, we tested again for consistency. Okay. Same results. They gave a report a week later. They signed off on it. The environmental engineers, the Department of Transportation, all that's in the packet that Mullens got. Okay. That's what I'm saying to you. And I still have copies because anybody I go meet with, it's kind of like an executive summary. It outlines everything, SKU numbers, parts, what would be used, all of that. Okay. At that point, a week later, a Ford Motor executive representing Ford who brought the deal in came back and said, Mr. Hardge, we got to revisit what we represented. You came back with almost a 300% increase. There's no way in the hell we could pay you $1 billion per 10%. Okay. I respect that. At that point in time, they said, well, can you guys give us a proposal of what you want? The lawyers drew up a proposal about 35, 40 pages and proposed a $3 billion deal with Ford Motor Company plus royalties. Okay. Now, Ford never came back and said they declined or none of that. We started having all kinds of issues, not on our behalf, but Ford during the COVID, shutting down. They was undecided what moves they were going to make. So my lawyer said, well, we'll give Ford time or we'll just move on to something else. That's what happened with Ford. And not even today have I received any letters from Ford or anybody saying that they didn't want to continue the negotiation. We just moved on. It was taking too long. Then here another company who was funded by the Rothschild family came and gave us a proposal for $20 billion for exclusive rights for the technology. Now, what I represent to you, I have contracts, okay? And they signed them. But when it came time for them to pay us, they kept asking for more and more extensions, okay? I'm saying this on the oath, even though it's not admissible in court. Okay. All right, that's fine. And then they wanted to, in the deal, they wanted me to build my own car. They wanted to brand it the Hardge car. All of this. Okay. See, people don't know this because everybody telling me to keep quiet. Okay. Matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, the very same company that was funded by the Rothschild called us and said, give them 30 days. They would be interested to go ahead and follow through on their contract and pay the $20 billion. Okay. We made it clear to them we're already entertaining the Saudis, okay, which had nothing to do with Mullens or whatever, okay? Then people were saying that I was lying about Saudi Arabia. Look, them guys flew to Saudi Arabia numerous times. They wanted me to fly, and I told them, listen, I don't want to fly that far. The last time I flew on a plane, I had a heart attack, okay, from exhaustion. So they would say, well, we'll put you on a private jet or none of that. I said, worst case scenario, I'll send my brother, who's a retired military special forces. He's been all over those places. He can speak their languages, all of that. In the meantime, while we're dealing with the Saudis, okay, let me just count now. I'm about to ease on back up to Mullens, okay? Now, when I had that heart attack, I filed bankruptcy. I owed about $2 million in back taxes. The federal judge was very lenient, very understanding because I had been taking care of my business before I had a heart attack. He waived all of that, okay? I didn't have to pay no taxes, nothing. It's signed by the judge. I don't have to lie about it. And the trustee who sent a letter to the press was very mad and angry that the judge ruled in my favor. He ain't never been for me ever since. Any way he could find to hurt me, he would. Now we got bar complaints filed against him. You know, we got the other people that conspired, and they spoke to Mullens, and we got some people that's ready to come forth. But I can't speak on Mullens until I see them speak, you know, honestly, because not what you know is what you can prove. But they said Mullens had a part in this. I don't know, but they said Mullens had a part in it. But let me just take it a little further. All right. During this time, with me doing all of this, okay, and matter of fact, the company that I'm telling you about, the other company under the Rothschild family, they can't lie. I got contracts. They signed it. I signed it. So if we're a fraud, then all these high-dollar lawyers, they frauds too, because they vetted everybody. They vetted to make sure the money was legal, everything. We're not talking about some hole-in-the-wall lawyer, okay? Now, as we move further with Mullens, okay, well, I'm still handling other business. We let Mullens know what was going on. There was packages, there was documents. Mullens knew everything. And one of the things that was discussed with Mullens, so if you're shareholders, you're listening, I did not deceive you about a Saudi deal. One of the things, because when I met with Mullens, they had facilities everywhere, okay? And with the Saudi deal, they had quite a few cars, and there was an argument about the regions where they was going to allow some of them to have certain rights to produce the technology in different regions of the country that I'd never been. I'd never been to Qatar. I'd never been to Saudi Arabia. I'd never been to Dubai. And they wanted me to come over there for 6 months. I said, I'm not going over there. I can't even speak the language. We have an interpreter. Anything that I wanted, they was willing to do to get me to go to the Middle East. I was against it, okay? Now let's move further with Mullens. With Mullens, after I talked to the guys, and they said it was okay. The engineers who had been working there for months, sitting at home getting paid, you know, till Mullens could get their business in order. I go into the plants. I looked at the vans or whatever, and I told them, my engineers came in. They said, well, if you can make this increase over 10%, you know, my CEO, which I got angry with him, I said, now we done went from 30 million down to 5. And then you're telling me if I come in and do this, James Taylor brought his checkbook in and he's going to give $5 million, Okay. I go in, my engineers and I, we looked at the vans. They put the vans on a platform. My engineers kept asking a lot of questions, okay, that I couldn't answer. So the next thing I know, James Taylor went to my CEO and told him to tell me to fire a couple of my engineers because they was asking too many questions. And one of the questions that they was concerned about, that if I put my technology on one of the vans, that it may cause it to produce so much power that the vans may catch a fire, okay? So my CEO said, Lawrence, they want him fired. I said, I'm not firing him. He's one of the best guys I got. He's all about safety. He's not trying to hurt anyone. He's just giving his recommendations about what could happen. So when we raised the vans up and we looked at them, and one of the things that first come to mind, who is going to approve these vans to go on the streets for the public to drive them? And I looked at it. There was things hanging down. There was wired up like wires so small, like speaker wires. There was no cover plates, none of that. Matter of fact, there was no airbags. There was none of that. I said, if they're going to pay me on production, what they're proposing, well, how long is it going to take before I start getting my money? Okay. And nobody had any answers. And then to top it off, when we was going further to make sure, matter of fact, they kind of laughed at the van. They said, Harge, these motors in these vans are not much bigger than the golf cart. This is an easy job. We just have to do a little modifications. So they come back down and say, don't change nothing on the vans. Nothing. Just keep it the way it is. Put your technology on it. So we had to do some modifications. Okay. On top of that, David them didn't offer to pay us. They said I had to prove that it worked. I know I probably spent about $60,000 of my own money, maybe 70. When the CPA do all my taxes and accounting, I could give you exact figures, but I know over $70,000 went out of my bank account for meals, staying at the Marriott Hotel in Troy, flying people back and forth from other states to come in and help, people flying from California on my team to come there. Okay. Also had to pay an independent dyno company, okay? Not some dyno company that I picked, but Mullens and my CEO found an independent dyno testing company, brought them in. I paid them. I think they was hitting us about $20,000 maybe a week or every other week for using their dyno machine. When you saw that, me standing on the picture of the dyno, that was the company I paid out of my pocket to test Mullens vans. Okay. That's all I was asked to do. Okay. Just the vans. I done that. Okay. We done the tests. We done all of that. Okay. There was agreement, a preliminary agreement put together prior to after I proved that it worked. I think we increased the van mileage maybe about 170 extra miles, okay? The vans was only getting about maybe 100 miles, the test that they had done independently before we came in. And the vans shut down after 5 hours. So we were trying to explain to them, yeah, that may be 5 hours, but once you start putting loads on these vans, you may not even get 2 hours out of them, okay? Everybody wanted me to shut up. My COO, just play ball, just do what you hear for. Now, I'm the boss, but he's the CEO doing all the negotiations. He said, you didn't come in, we didn't bring you in to fix all the flaws or none of that. All they want is a test to show that they have a technology that it works. I said, okay, but, if y'all want me to get royalties, I can't go along with this because it's going to take a while to get all these things brought to be able to be street legal in the USA. And I said, I don't even like the quality, the shocks and everything that was put on those vans. They were very cheaply installed, okay? So my team is about perfection. So we want to make sure all of those things corrected, but they said, no, you're not here for that. I said, okay. I said, but you see that starter over there that's hanging down? If you driving in Detroit in that van and hit a pothole, it's going to tear the whole platform down. Harge, that's not your problem. That's Mullen's problem. Let's just do the test. Okay. I do the test. We there for maybe 2-3 months. Every time it came to pay me, it was always somebody want to do something different. Okay. So my patent lawyer told me, said, Harge, I think you need to walk away from the Mullens deal. Okay. My attorney in Michigan was mad with me. Say, focus on the deals that we have. We've investigated, there's people they haven't paid, who they made deals with, and I don't think you're going to get paid. I said, no, I think these guys mean well. I sit down with James Taylor, and if he's listening, he know I did. I asked him, I said, do you really care about your shareholders? I want to make sure I'm not being subjected to something that happened to me over 20-some years ago where I signed a deal and they gave me restricted stocks. The CEO pumped the stocks and make an announcement with something I'd done with my fire extinguisher and all of that, made hundreds of millions of dollars, dumped the stocks, and the company went under. So I made it specifically clear. You guys talking about paying me per production. I said, well, the type of vans y'all talking about shipping out and selling, if I'm getting 49% of that. Y'all getting 51. The $5 million is a drop in the bucket because with the profit margin, I'm going to make a lot of money. I just want to make sure that you guys got every good intentions to make sure that the shareholders have the best interest. They don't invest their money. I don't look. You got a lot. Y'all got hundreds of millions that's been invested. And I asked them, I said, where are the other vans that's, you guys supposed to have? Oh, we keep them at another location. Okay, well, I take your word, okay? But there was only like 5, maybe 6 vans in the building. And there was about 4 of them on the outside that had been crash tested. I don't know if they had been passed the crash test or had they failed the crash test. My only concern was I didn't feel the car was ready for the streets with just the visual that I see. So they turn around after I done the test and all of that, and it passed. You make the announcement. You make the announcement about what I did with Element, and to validate me. But all the time, you guys are making money on the stock market because people are that because I'm there, I'm going to be the savior that's going to make Mullen stocks go up. Okay. Let's take it a little further with the Saudi deal. I sit down with them. That's what David broke in my heart. He tore me to pieces when he said he knew nothing about a Saudi deal. Okay? Those was one of the other key components that I was willing to work with Mullens for because I didn't have the boots on the ground. Most of my engineers was freelancers. They work with me when they have opportunities. I pay them, and it was going to require a lot of manpower to start producing those vehicles, putting the technology on it. Okay. Remind you at the time, my technology, all the parts and stuff that's being used on the technology, they're EPA certified, but the complete technology of my technology had never been placed on the EPA test, which it passed with flying colors. There's no hazard. But the companies who were proposing the deals said that they wanted to handle that, okay? It had nothing to do with going and repeat the same test that I already done with Mullens, which would have passed with flying colors because it's not like the CEO said, it's not about the truck. It's not about none of that. It's basically just saying that it worked. Element proved that about 4 or 5 times that it worked and that they didn't see no harm. And in the report, it clearly states to be determined by Harge, meaning whatever he want to put this technology on, we'll certify that it'll work. Now, how it work, they don't know, but he has shown that it worked, okay? I taken a Chevy Bolt in there to Element. I didn't go in there testing for mileage or none of that. I went in there to test it to show that the car did not overheat. It will not overheat, do none of the above. Element put that in their report. David Mitchell's team, they saw that. They had a copy of all of that, okay? So let's take it further. So my lawyers was negotiating and they was fighting among each other because some of them didn't want me to deal with Mullens and the other was saying go on through with it. So every time, but they fought so much that they ran the bill up, going back and forth with Mullens, a little over $100,000. So I'm fussing. I'm like, who's gonna pay this law firm bill for going back and forth? And then David goes on a space call and say that every lawyer I had work for me quit. I had to go get a new firm. That wasn't true. Every lawyer that negotiated with David today is still on my team. Lawyers have an option to agree or disagree, and they give their opinions. So David has one lawyer I guess he represents them. The lawyer said they can't get any leeway with him. He's being very difficult. That's what James Taylor come. I got the text message, Mr. Taylor, if you listen, where you text me, can I get another lawyer to work with this lawyer or whatever? Do you need to come to the lawyer's office, try to work it out, this and that? Okay. Nobody's telling that. They just letting Harge just take a real beating out there. Okay. So when it come time to pay, the lawyers saying, Harge, I'm asking, when am I going to get paid? I got over $100,000 tied up in Mullens. with all the expenses, paying the engineers, hotels, me traveling back and forth, and I haven't gotten paid. He said, well, Mr. Hardge, what we're going to do, we're going to make them do a good faith payment while we're trying to work this thing out. Okay. Mullens sent over $50,000. That's all I received. And remember, I'm already $100,000 in the hole, so that $50,000 was not a profit to Lawrence Hardge. Okay. 2-3 weeks passed, we still going back and forth. Mullens already made an announcement on the NASDAQ. Made the shareholders think that they had already given me $5 million and that I'm not being compliant. Okay? That was not true. That was 300% not true. I complied with whatever they did ask me to do. I showed loyalty. I showed faithfulness. Every morning I was there on time. My team was there on time. We was there every morning around 6 o'clock and a few minutes before. The people that worked in Mullens, they had a few engineers that they claimed to come from General Motors and all that. All they was in there. They was nice. So my team was getting first credit. They really wanted to walk away from Mullens because they didn't feel they would have a long-term future. And then when we was trying to get the specs for the vans and stuff, nobody had the specs. So we had to work from scratch. And that was a concern. How you guys talking about selling vans, y'all delivering? Nobody has the blueprints. Well, we think the guys that's worked in China that's come up, they have them. But we in the USA. Where's the blueprints? My engineers don't work on, we have to have schematics of these vehicles. Nobody had them. Then in the last hour, somebody came up with some schematics, but it wasn't of the van, but it's for the big trucks that I had, we were working on, which my engineers told them, we can't work on that. They didn't even know the correct amount of kilowatts the battery was putting out. So my team said, we can't just go in there blindly. We need specs, and we're going to install this technology on the big truck. Nobody wanted to listen. Lawrence, can you just plug the technology up and see anyway? I did it. Boom. Just what the guy was telling them all along. It was going to put out too much power, and it boomed. After that, I told him, I said, look, y'all not paying me. I'm pretty much walking away. Okay. Then I get a call from James Taylor, David Mitchell on the line, and a retailer who's over the retailer, whatever, whoever he was. I don't remember his name, but I got his phone number. Okay. Because he called me, tried to talk to me. He said, there's no way David is not going to pay you, Lawrence. I'm here to tell you. They're going to pay you. Don't walk away, whatever. I said, listen, you're saying this, but I don't know. It don't really look like it. Okay. Then, while we was doing this here, you know, I'm telling you, I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. Okay. Remind you, I already had a contract with Washington, D.C. Okay. When I got the contract with Washington, D.C., my record had been expunged. D.C. vetted me clearly. I did tell them I had a conviction some years ago, but it had been expunged. They done their investigation with my lawyers. They came back. They made an announcement in the news and on their website that if anybody had a similar technology to this, all they had to do was reach out to the government and they have an opportunity to put their costs in before they gave the sole source contract to Lawrence Hardge. While I was in D.C., we was working on the cars, testing them. I did everything. I'm paying the guys to be in D.C. That's another $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 that I spent. Not to mention, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Can't nobody say my stuff is a fraud. The insurance company charged me $70,000. I had to get it cost me upfront $70,000 to insure the DC project. And part of that contract, we had to hire some local people within DC to work and drive the cars, do all that. So it's giving a contribution back to DC. And while there, James Taylor and them came and so forth, and the directors and the other executives of the DC government was upset with Mullens because Mullens was making it appear in the public if though they had partnered with me on the DC contract, which wasn't true. And they was posting it in the social media, and every other day I'm getting a call from DC saying that Mullen is representing that they are part of the deal when they wasn't. So they sent Mullens a cease and desist. Okay? So here, which we learn now, one of the lawyers, which y'all seen out there, one of the lawyers out of Mississippi conspired with a 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗪, and they went to the courts. And so it's obvious they were people trying to shut me down. They went to the courts and said they gave me $4 million and I ran off with it. And they haven't given you no $4 million. And went to the judge and lied. And the attorney who represented me and got the expungement, he didn't show up for court. So I was wondering why he didn't show up. So they reversed my expungement. And the next thing I know, they sent it to every company I was dealing with, including Mullens, who already knew, including DC. And then they turned around and said a convicted fraudster tried to beat DC out of a contract. That hurted those guys. It hurted me. They said, why are they doing this to you, Hardge? You don't have a conviction. We know the stuff work. We up here making it work right now. And I've never seen grown men cry for losing their job because the government had other projects for us to work on once we finished that. A street sweeper, a garbage truck, school buses, all that was supposed to follow behind the DC contract. That's why I brought in a team of lawyers now. I'm suing for my damages, okay? All I asked Mullens to do was stand up and tell the truth. Now, let's take it a little further. Now, Mullens know they got the cease and desist letters telling them to stop making it seem like they're benefiting from the government deal. Only thing they was going to help me do with the government deal, if we needed more manpower, we was going to negotiate a contract to pay their engineers to help assist. There was no ownership to come out of my government contracts, but they made it look like that. So when I started raising hell and get ready to walk away and told them I was walking away because they hadn't paid me, I get this call and say, Hardge, we need you to do another test, an EPA test. I said, first of all, I have honored my contract. That's not a part of my contract, okay? And I said, furthermore, I don't have a problem with it, but y'all need to pay me for what you already agreed to. Well, if you do the EPA test, we'll pay you after it passed the EPA. I said, that's still not what we agreed upon. Y'all haven't paid me. Okay. I said, I'm not doing it unless I'm paid. Okay. I walked away. 3 weeks later, I see in the news that Mullens terminated my contract for breach of contract and got all your investors mad at me that my stuff was fraudulent because I wouldn't provide the EPA test. I didn't have to go do any more. And I said, how long would it be before I get paid after I do the EPA test? Maybe 30 to 60 days. I said, hell no. I walked away. And they knew that. And my lawyers told we're not doing anything. We're not negotiating anymore. Y'all ain't paid this man. He can't pay us because y'all ain't paid him. He walked away. And 2 or 3 weeks later, Mullens filed something in the news saying that they had terminated me for breach of contract. And turned all you investors against me and made lying Larry and then say there was no Saudi deal. I couldn't go out there publicly and show what deals was made. I'm on an NDA. I was on NDA with them and still on NDA. Now, who said the Saudi deal wasn't real? It is real. We got more stuff on the table. And so what I did, since after all this madness here about Lawrence Harge being a convicted felon, I stepped down. I'm no longer the chairman or whatever. I relinquished all of my ownership. I took the position as an engineer, and I'm fine, okay? I'm well taken care of. They make sure I get my salary. All of that, I'm well taken care of. Then on top of that, when they said I took the $4 million, the judge didn't know, and she rescinded my expungement. There was never no bragging about how I messed up with this guy, Roger Bow. Matter of fact, he got mad because Audi Porsche wanted me to put the same technology on a new Porsche. So nobody listens, make it make sense. The guys that brought me to this, Roger Bow, who is a stench Republican who believes that the election was stolen. One of the guys on my team told me not to deal with him, but the lawyer who made the deal turned out that he was taking bribes and they all was paying bribes to destroy me and sitting in the same damn room with me and destroying me with Mullens and send emails to Mullens. Why, David, won't you show the emails they sent you? They just sitting quiet, ain't standing up for nothing, but now we got all the evidence. Then the guy paid a $10,000 bribe to Eric Rollins in California to go on social media to bash me. And then the judge, we went to court, not only did he take the $4 million liens off of my account, he had them to take down everything that they had put out there on social media about me. But it don't matter, the damage has been done. Then they went to court a couple of weeks ago. They tried to lie on my lawyer. The judge threw that out. Now they got hearings coming up or whatever because they don't file bar complaints against these guys. And now I guess in this coming week, we're going to file a bar complaint against the lawyer who was formerly represented me, who turned against me. And some media outlet sent me a press release where he had faked his death years ago and the governor pardoned him. I didn't even know that. And if I had to know he had done that, stole money from his clients and then faked his death, that his boat had capsized and he turned up 2 weeks later after they had been looking for his body in Oklahoma to turn himself in, I never would have done anything with him. And what I say is factual. So when I go on Mullens, my lawyers, some of them asked me not to say anything, but I couldn't take it because they ain't the one out there getting beat down. They ain't the one watching shareholders lose their money. Like they saying, that's not your problem, Lawrence. They invested in Mullens before you came in. But it is a problem when you got some people thinking that I shafted the shareholders and I took a loss just like them. Probably a greater loss because ain't nobody out there in social media calling them a fraud and a convict and all of that. But one good thing that's to come out of this, they'll open up an investigation and my lawyer's not just going to get the expungement rescinded. They're going to get my conviction overturned because I was innocent back then. I only pled guilty because they threatened me with 40 years for something I didn't do. I never took a dime of the money. And Roger Bowers them knew that. We did a contract. He's supposed to give me $1 million. He gave me he knew that Porsche, when those guys had Googled me and they saw that I had been convicted back in 1998, they said, well, we can't make any announcement because he got a felony on his record. So he said he'd give $1 million. The lawyer who conspired with everybody, he went up there, got it done, sent them a letter, said that he talked to the DA and the judge. If Lawrence paid the balance, because I already paid $65,000 of the money out of my own pocket. He said if he paid the $235,000, they would expunge his record immediately. He can honestly say he has never been convicted of a crime. He can go get a weapon or whatever if he wanted to. When Bowles then went and took that Porsche that was in his name and took it out of the lab and found out my technology was on it, they all went rogue. They went to paying folks to do me in. But once again, let me just go a little further with that, okay? If I had defrauded Roger Bowles, the first time he gave me the 230 or 300,000, why would I do what they asked me to do, get all the receipts to show what I'd done with the money and send it to them? Okay? The lawyers helped put that together and some associates send them all the receipts to show every dime what I did with the money. 3 weeks later, you go buy a brand new RV for me to go travel around all these different places to demo my technology. Had I done something wrong, why would you go pay cash for an RV and put it in my name? And if that wasn't good enough, 2 weeks later, you go buy $100,000 Porsche, ship to Michigan to the lab for me to do the same thing. But when you thought we had finished putting the technology on it, you went and got it and took it without anybody knowing because it was in your name. And when you found out that the technology wasn't on it because the company was doing a baseline test. And a baseline is you test the car before you put the technology on it so you could compare the difference like they did at Mullens. Okay? So y'all did all this stuff saying he's a convicted felon and all this in here. So I was really mad with DC government because they loved it me before all the mess came about. They modified their building for me, gave me an office. They done everything. They didn't do anything wrong. Didn't nobody con nobody. Everything was done by the book. And Mullens, all they had to do was just tell you guys what I'm telling you now, and even David, okay? And then David would send me, not David, I spoke to David a couple of times. And even with the retail on the phone, he was on the line. He can't lie, David. Come on now. I could go to my phone records. Subpoena my phone records. You'll see the phone calls from David calling me and the retailers. If David, you listen, tell them, call me a liar right now. And we could dig all this up, okay? Then people saying, did anybody ever test his results? Yeah. The people, the Rothschild family tested it. Everybody. And have you noticed? Not none of those companies I just spoken to you about ever came out and said Harge technology didn't work. Not a single one. Did Mullens ever come out and say that Harge technology never worked? No. But you don't even tell these people. And then when I told them they could be the next Tesla, it's because of what you hearing on this phone right now. And we was going to partner and y'all was going to help me do all these deals. You knew I was a garage inventor when I come in there. But none of my engineers are garage inventors. They work for major companies. I had surpassed the garage. I have my own building where I work in. I just started out in a garage. So if you're going to tell the truth, bring them shareholders together so that they can recoup their money. Why would I want to see all these investors who believed in Mullens put hundreds of thousands, millions in Mullens? Why? And then that article that I sent, that has nothing to do with me trying to attack Mullens. It was sent to me. I barely read it. I just saw the date was recently that they published it. I just shared it. So maybe somebody in the crowd will come out and just tell the truth like what I have been hearing. And Mullens, they know that I'm telling every single damn word is truthful. Okay? And Kyle, you know the same too. Okay? I'm a private company, number one. I'm not entitled to go out and publish every day, every single move that I'm making. But however, as a private company, ain't nobody gonna pay me to lie on nobody, including Mullens, no company. And y'all gotta answer for these shareholders. You got businesses, and I told them, you guys all over the place. You like a mechanic who's a jack of all trades and specialize in nothing. You got a van that's the most inexpensive. You can bring it up to code. It could be on the streets. You don't just have to have something that's not street legal and have it at universities and airports where it can never leave. You got a big truck. You could have used the technology on it and outdone everybody. Instead, seemed like everybody's focused on how much money they can make on the stocks and throw old country boy Lawrence Hardge on the bus because he had a prior conviction. When y'all know I didn't even want y'all to publicize it, but y'all convinced me to put my name out there, and then you leave me out there for the very thing that I knew would probably happen, and you said you would protect me, and you didn't do a damn thing. I have family. I have friends. I got friends that invested in Mullens when they saw the news that Lawrence Hardge was involved because they knew I'd been doing some great things for years. And they don't lost money. So why would I do anything to hurt them? Some of them pulled out, some of them stayed in. one of the owners of a car lot where I bought my new Lexus LS 500. One day I come in there looking at a newer Lexus because mine's an 18 model, and I sold it. He said, Hardge, I bought some shares in Mullens when I heard you was involved. I said, oh, wow. I didn't say anything. I said, wow. He said, well, I put about 10 grand in. I was thinking about putting another 10 grand in. I didn't tell that man to walk away. I didn't encourage him to do anything. All I could say to myself, I hope and pray that things get better with Mullens. Okay? So my question of the day is, like, I'm seeing a lot of stuff going on in Mullens doing. Why are we buying more? Why are you buying more facilities? Why are you doing all of this when you should focus on what generates profits so these people's shares can go up? They don't trust you, David. And so no people scared to really do anything because they don't trust the CEO. And now you got a man that had your back. I don't trust you no further. I can throw a rock now because you didn't keep your word. And you let these investors out there bash me. I got YouTube videos, lying Larry and all of that. Yeah, the lawyers say they're going to have to pay me for damages and all of that, but that still don't take away from my character. Now, I took a loss because I had to step away because I can't be out there in the public because y'all done dragged me in the mud. And so what if they fix the conviction and the judge is now ready to correct my expungement? The whole world know what happened to me now. So what is it going to change? It ain't stopped me from being a multi-billionaire. None of that. But my character. I'd rather have good character to be well off. Money is not my God. I come from Mississippi. I come from nothing. I could live off $1 million.
Hey, Lawrence.
The home I live in.
Lawrence.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, this is Dan Sanchez with Mullen. Hey, I got a question for you, bud. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sure, I can hear you.
Did you not sign paperwork saying you can't talk about this stuff?
Let me say something.
No, hold on. Listen to me. Actually, if somebody could put them on mute really quick while I say something. Lawrence, you have been given so many chances to prove to everybody what you've been saying, and you have done nothing.
Listen,
and we have proof of everything.
Something. Okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you what.
You know that.
If you think I haven't,
would you like
compare
me to
my
show
evidence with
theirs? A copy of your criminal records? Would you like me to do that?
Who cares?
No, everybody.
The world
cares.
already know.
They might know.
The world already knew, and Mullens knew before they hired me.
Do you want me to
Mullens knew before they hired me with my record?
What a liar that you are.
Okay, listen. I don't told the truth.
Oh,
the next step, if you think I'm lying, court.
And enough.
The next step is to take me to court. And I got about 20 people that'll stand behind me who was there.
I have emails from your people.
Make a choice.
I have emails from your people telling me that you've done nothing. So
okay, whatever you want to say.
I recommend you to keep it down. Okay.
Hey, I'm telling the truth, and I don't care because I got the resources to fight in court.
Lie to your people. Don't lie to my people.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm done talking to you. So all I say is bring me to court. You bring your stuff to court, I bring mine, and we ain't got to say nothing else. Okay.
You're absolutely right.
Can I finish talking to the guy?
That's why we're
quiet. Well, they should have done right by me. So you guys have a good day.
No, you have
I'm not going to be kept quiet.
You have a great day.
Yes, thank you.
Our Mullen supporters alone. Enough is enough with you. Have a great day.
I'm not bothering Mullen supporters. All I ask David to do is tell the truth. Tell the truth, and then I'll go away. Tell him that I didn't refuse to do anything. Tell the truth, and you won't hear from Lawrence ever again.
Lawrence, how many vans?
That's all you got to do.
How many vans have we put out there for you to prove your technology?
No, they didn't put no vans. They only had one for me to work on. So what are you talking about?
Let's just say that that's the truth, right? We just had one for you to work on. Did you work on it? Absolutely.
Yes, I did, and I had it tested, and it worked. Now, why won't he tell the truth? I got the documents and the test results.
I don't go on these things, and I never talk on these things. I do sometimes just say hello and thank everybody for supporting us.
Tell David to tell the truth. Since you a Mullens guy, ask your boss to tell the truth. And I'll go away. You'll never hear from me. Clear my damn name, and I'm gone. because I got other people to deal with, not Mullens.
You clear your own name.
I'm not out to hurt Mullens.
Clear your own name.
I'm clearing my name. But I don't want people to think that I didn't do right by Mullens. That's a damn lie.
It's Mullen.
Mullen, I don't care what it is. I was there and I spent my hard-earned money. And I haven't refused it back.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you do the same.
Take care.
Bye. Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Lawrence Harge.
I'm good. I don't make my statement. You can say what you want, and my life is an open book. You can't say nothing about Lawrence that people don't already know. People in my community, all of them know I was a good guy. You don't see my home state bashing me. Only them. Now you want to get on there and talk about what I did for Mullen. I was for Mullens.
Well, apparently he didn't dispute anything you were saying. He just said that you were not allowed to talk about what you were saying.
Okay, well, certain things I can say, and it don't matter. Take me to court. My name is on the line. And they let me be backed, and ain't no judge gonna go against it. Who would tell somebody to keep quiet and watch them being beat up in social media and watching people lose millions of dollars on a lie? Answer that for me. And if I wasn't human, I wouldn't give a damn. Money ain't my God. You tell that to the people that lost 99% of their money. Ask them, do they want me to keep quiet?
I think that's what this is all about. Everybody wants to know the truth about what happened.
Okay. Well, don't lie on me, because I'm an African American. I know I have to be better than the best, and I know my whole life is under a magnifying glass. And I know you tell lies, people ain't gonna believe it, but I haven't told any lies. My team, they're not convicted felons. Don't bash the whole engineering team because you have to attack one person. Them guys, they supported me, and they're not happy about it. They want to go to court when the time comes. So they was there first-handed. We know what we saw. We got tapes, videos, everything. I was proud. I was on social media. Y'all saw me. Was I out to hurt them then? And it ain't about the $5 million, because I'm being blessed way beyond that. It's just the way you did it. Simple thing. Well, just tell the truth. We didn't have a meetings of the minds, and Hardge walked away. That's it. And we wouldn't even be having this conversation. People walk away from deals every day, sir. Every day. And tell the truth. You got a cease and desist letter from the DC government telling you to stop making announcement that appears that you're a partnership with Hardge. But I took a beating on that. And when they didn't do it, I got terminated. My contract. All that money went up in smoke. So now y'all want to use me as a fall guy, that I'm the reason that Mullen is failing? Come on, man. Oh, what? And if you was working on your job right now and they kept delaying your paycheck, would you continue to work or will you walk away? Answer that question. That's right. You would walk away. And that's it. This ain't about beating up on Mullen. It's about hurting the shareholders or whoever that don't want to see Mullen succeed. I'm not with that. Mullen got hundreds of millions of dollars to fix whatever their problems are. But have a conscience and don't throw innocent people under the bus because you're in a situation that was happening way before I came in the picture. That's all I'm saying to you guys. So whatever you think of me, as of now, I told you the truth, and that's my word, and I stick by it.
Well, speaking of, before you came into the picture, how was it that you briefly touched on it earlier, but how was it contact was first made between you and Mullen?
There was a shareholder who was I guess he had been with Mullens, and David had been friends since Death Row Records. He never told me that he had been dealing with David back during the Death Row era. He just told me him and David was close friends. They could call each other at any time. And I done told them about you. And he set it up in California. My people went to California and met with some folks there and all of that, and then was instructed to come to Michigan to the Troy facility. That's the only facility I ever went to. Okay? And this guy talked about they gave me a bunch of vans. They only had one van that was operable for me to work on. I wish people just tell the truth. All the other vans that we saw, they was in the parking lot, had been crash tested. They was tore up. Tell the truth if you're going to tell it. Don't beat up on this country boy from Mississippi who was only trying to do the right thing. It ain't about no fame or none of that. The more fame, the more problems. I wouldn't even want David's job as a CEO. When I made the statement that they need to change CEOs, that's because I want to see these shareholders not lose any more money because you can't see it. The people don't trust David. He could invent a rocket right now and the stock still won't go up because they don't trust him. People are hurting. They've lost their money. Why can't anybody comprehend that? And that board needs to make some changes. David could do just like I did. He could still own his company. Step down and let somebody else run it that the shareholders can trust and the people can trust. Otherwise, Mullen's gonna fail. Nobody got money to be pouring down in a black hole. So y'all can hate me or whatever, but I told you the truth. Do you want to bring up something that happened 25 years ago? I'm glad y'all did do me like that. Now it's open up an investigation where I can get my whole complete conviction reversed. But that has nothing to do with Mullens. Don't use me as a fall guy. My stuff work. We're doing manufacturing right now to be able to put in cars worldwide. The company's going to do it. I guess I'm no different from David. Long as I wouldn't run it, I'm not running everybody behind it. But when I'm running it, because I guess I don't have no degree or none of that, people didn't stand up like they're standing now, making sure things happen. I can respect that. Long as I get my paycheck, I don't have to be in no media, none of that. Because I like the simple life anyway, where I can enjoy my beautiful home, my cars, and my family. But I am human. And they may not be getting the text messages and the emails that I get where people crying they done lost their money and don't know what to do. That means they got some kind of faith. They believe in me and asking me, what should we do? Only a monster wouldn't care about those folks. People done committed suicide. And y'all want me to keep quiet while I'm taking a beating? But something I didn't do, went in innocently and honestly, just want to make a decent pay? And wanted to see the technology that I worked on for so many years hit the marketplace? But other people with other agendas? You ain't concerned about Hardge. All you concerned about all the money you can make off these shareholders.
Well,
what y'all got to understand too, you know what you understand too? Everything that's been done by David, it's been done legally. It's been done legally. So they don't really have a stance. He don't did what he's supposed to do. He may have withheld some things, but what he did, it was legal. And all the people that's selfish, awarding all this stuff while people are losing their money, they need to clean them out too. And you can say I said it. I'm not beating up on them. How much? Look, if you're in quicksand and nobody throws you a rope, you're gonna go under. So, sir, I'm gonna finish this call. I'm not fighting with Mullens. I'm not fighting with David, but David needs to do the right thing. And I told David, I don't want to be the one to file a lawsuit against you, Mullens, because I hurt these good people that's calling me. All I ask you to do is do one thing, Mullens. And that probably help your shares too. Because you don't want to make it look like that you got a bunch of criminals working for you, Mullens. Just tell the people you couldn't work the deal out with Hardge, he walked away. Don't go out with a lie with your investor to take the attention off of you. Tell the truth. That's it. So these people can recoup their losses. I'm done, sir, because I'm fighting back tears because if I send you some of the emails and texts that I get from Mullens investors, you'll be crying too. You have tears in your eyes.
We are very aware of that. That's why we fight very hard here at FUD Radio to cut through the lies and disinformation and advocate on behalf of investors for them to know both sides of the story. That's exactly what we're here for, sir.
I want them to know I'm not talking to nobody that hurt Mullens. If you knew all the people that have called me to try to get me to hurt Mullens, you would know I care more about the investors. Okay? You have no idea, sir. And I told him I don't want nothing to do with it. Well, but he messed over you. That's fine. If it's going to hurt the shareholders and shut the company down, I want no parts of it. Who's going to pay these people their losses back? The SEC ain't doing nothing because everything they done is legal. Only thing they haven't done is fail to produce. And you can't produce what you don't have. That's why they're all over the place. Every week a new company. Why would you go buy another battery technology when you had the best in the country sitting in your lap? Why would you go buy stuff from Nikola, who had to shut down because their vehicle was catching on fire? Why are you investing these shareholders' money in all these different projects that'll take years to come to fruition when you had something that was imminent right in your lap? And all you had to do was pay the man, so I didn't look like a fool with my lawyers and my engineering team who kept telling me to walk away sooner, that these folks ain't gonna do right by you.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. What is it that your team found out about Mullen when they were doing their DD? So what is it that you found out then, and what do you know about them now?
Well, I already knew then, but it wasn't my place. I was told to focus on what I came there for, okay? When my team was bringing up certain things, everybody wanted me to shut up and just focus on doing the test so they can make the test results. And then they want me to fire some of my people because they was raising those questions. Do they really want me to bring those people into court? And when they tell the truth under oath and it hurt them shareholders, come on, man. Believe me, I'm a man who keep documentations on everything. Because I'm an African-American, I ain't going to take no fall for nobody. So when I start hearing these announcements, this and that, I was just concerned, well, who approved all this stuff? Did it get fixed? Did his dad or whatever? That's it. And David, you know I'm telling the truth. And James Taylor, you know I'm telling you the truth. My brother's a preacher. He ain't gonna come in no court and lie for nobody. He was there working. He got his bachelor's degree from Tech in Texas. Everybody, smart people. They don't have a job. I've been helping them. I've been sending them money because I'm out of the picture with the big boys other than I'm a consultant engineer. But them people, this Thanksgiving, Christmas, I've been helping them. But Mullens, I want y'all to hear from me. I'm not your enemy and I've never been your enemy. Y'all made me the enemy. But you had to do one thing. And you were the first one that knew I had was a convicted felon. You made the announcement in your press release. Even though I didn't want to be mentioned in the press. Y'all chose to go ahead and put it out there and said you would protect me. That's the only reason I agreed to it.
So in what way were they offering protection?
Well, I told them I didn't want to go out there and I get bashed and people discredit me because what happened to me 25 years ago. I think you should just make the announcement of the technology and I continue to work as I'm doing right now. They chose to put it out there anyway. And I told them I don't want to be there. Well, we got lawyers, this and that. We can handle all of that. Well, what happened? The lawyers ran? Because y'all ain't said not one damn word while I'm out there on social media. Now go out there on X right now and see what the people saying about Hardge because Mullens got them to believe that I refused to do an EPA test after I'd already proven it with my own money that the technology worked. Okay, make it make sense. You had to pay me $5 million, my money, as we agreed to. Hell, I'll continue to do what I wanted to do for Mullens.
Well, you said James Taylor was offering more than that, and that it
Well,
got
they started out, when they first came to me, they told me $30 million. Do I need to have my CEO subpoenaed? And I settled for 5 on the terms that said I make more money when the vehicles go in production versus that upfront money. Little did I know I wasn't even gonna get paid the 5. So if it was 30, I would have got paid 30. So what difference? I didn't get paid nothing. What difference would it make? So now y'all have the truth. They won't take me to court, sue me, and I'll just bring all the evidence. And I'll tell the judge just like I'm telling now. They was killing me out here. Killing me. Those lies. I'm not out to hurt anybody. Ain't nobody paid me no money to go out and hurt no shareholders. You couldn't pay me enough.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, who was it that encouraged that first Facebook video on 420? Was it?
They was all for it. Everything I said, they agreed to it and all of that for me to do it. James Taylor, all of them. Then you turn around after the shareholders was believing in me, shut me down. Then made me look like a liar, sent me 2-3 cease and desist to my lawyers and all. And that's when the team was beating up on me, my team. And see that, Hardge? We told you should have been walked away from them. So I took a beating on both sides. Imagine looking at the people you've been working with for years, looking at me as I'm to blame because I didn't walk away and I didn't listen to them. So it's bigger than just the shareholders. They're gonna make it look like I went on social media and told lies. And then come out and say, you didn't know nothing about the Saudi deal. Matter of fact, let me just take it a little further. The people with Saudi Arabia and James Taylor, I put my hand on a stack of Bibles, and you know this. People were doing the deal with Saudi Arabia. You know what they came to me and I went to James. They told me to ask him, how much would he sell Mullens for? They wanted to buy Mullens and let me be a part of it and take Mullens to the next level. James Taylor said David is not willing to sell. Now, you haters, you take that and put it in your pipe and smoke it. You didn't know that. But yet he turned around and say he didn't know nothing about a Saudi deal. Come on, guys. And I want you to record everything that I said so they have to come back up in court. So I remember if you bring it up in court and I can show the documents and text messages and emails. Nothing I'm saying on this phone is hearsay. From Ford to GM to Hyundai and all the rest of them. The Rothschild family, $20 billion. All of that. Black and white, negotiated with lawyers and signed by both parties. Do y'all want all this in court? Then subpoena me or we can go. Since y'all done beat up on Lawrence and call him a lying Larry, we'll show who's the liar.
So do you remember the one video that you made? You were in an office. There was a TV behind you. Was James Taylor present when you made that video?
Yes. He's present when I was he was present there. He was present when I did the videos at Mullens. He was present when I did the videos in Washington, D.C. Come on, y'all. And we got pictures and videos. But he told me, oh, don't show my face. Don't show my face. And I didn't.
Oh, he literally requested for his face not to be shown.
Yes, and my team was standing there. The people in D.C. was standing and heard it. Do you want all these people to come out and testify? Please. So next time you say something bad about Harge on X, just know it's just increasing the damages award that we're going to get for all this madness.
And so the previous individual who came up was Dan Sanchez. Are you familiar with him?
I don't even know what Dan Sanchez
is, his role at Mullen?
I don't know him, never heard of him. One thing I won't do is lie to you about anybody, and I'm not going to lie on nobody.
So at any time during your conversations with James Taylor regarding Mullen, did anybody ever talk about awarded shares or milestones?
No, I told them I didn't want any shares. They did talk to me about shares. I told them I didn't want any shares. After I seen what I seen, you know what I mean? And I didn't want anyone to think that I was pumping Mullen stocks. And I even instructed everyone in my family, do not go out and buy any Mullen shares, because I don't want them to think that y'all have some inside information on Mullens that may have been provided by me. The people that I know bought shares is people that saw it in the news and my involvement, and they went bought shares. Any other questions, sir?
Well, we would love for you, if you've got the time, we would invite some speakers up to ask some questions if you were interested.
No, I don't say what I had to say. Anything else needs to be said on the oath, sir. All I'm saying, you can say what you want about Hardge. You can continue to bash me publicly, but that's just a tip of the iceberg, what I said today. The rest I want to resolve in court. Okay?
Well, thank you very much for stopping.
And once again, before I let you go, please tell them shareholders, if anybody ever said that Lawrence sent out a document or signed something that hurt Mullens, they are a damn liar. And if they said, tell them to provide you proof. Because nobody have I given any information. Yes, SEC in Washington, D.C. reached out, wanted me to sign papers and send it to them in writing regarding what I know. I refuse to do that. So who's lawyer, sir? I got their phone numbers from the number they called me from Washington, D.C., SEC. If I'm not mistaken, another one called from California. I don't know nothing about California. I ain't never been to California to deal with Mullens on anything, so I don't have nothing to tell you guys. So now what? Who's lying? And if you call them, they'll tell you they don't have no records of Lawrence Hardge filing anything against Mullens. I wouldn't dare do that. Not with the emails and text messages I received. People have lost their money. If I go shut Mullens down, them people have lost their whole life savings. All I asked David to do, step down, let somebody else come with some credibility. And
do you
be
think
a
that's
man.
somebody like a Robert Bollinger? Have you ever had any association with Robert Bollinger or the Bollinger side of it?
Never.
But are you familiar with Mr. Robert Bollinger?
All I know is I heard of him. I've never met him. I went to the place where I guess it was AM or whoever it was. I think it was under James Company that Mullen had bought out. And I saw those vans. Matter of fact, my team nicknamed the vans the Clown's van because they felt like they thought we was coming in with a task and it was the easiest job we ever worked on. That's all I know. That's it. That's it. I don't know no Bollinger. Ain't none of them call me, ask me no questions.
Who do you
none
think
of
would
that.
be somebody that could step up in that role? Or is it just, at this point, just for Mystery to step down and get anybody up there?
No, I don't need to get anybody. He needs somebody that knows the electric car industry, profit margins, the right prediction, in regarding what needs to be done. Hold these companies to a timeline. If you're a manager and you say you're gonna have something ready at a certain time, if you don't, your replacement will. I wouldn't make any announcements based on speculations. And that's what I was doing. I give you the facts. because you don't know what you may run into if you give people, if you, just like they beat up on me on the 2 weeks. Well, it's time for me to make the announcements and tell the people the truth, like what I'm saying now. I get some cease and desist. And then you turn around and say you didn't know nothing about it, and I can't say nothing because y'all don't put gags order on me. So I look like the biggest damn con man criminal in the United States.
Well, you probably don't have Sam Bateman free beat, so.
Yeah, well, and then when I was doing that and bringing all the stuff to the light, I said, I can handle this. I told him, man, I can bring these trucks up to code, but this is not going to work on the streets of the United States. So here they go with Harge. My CEO come back. Well, they're going to promote you from chief scientific officer to vice president of technology. Yeah, that's fine. A title is fine, but pay me. I pointed out things that they didn't even know. My team pointed out things that they didn't even know. You had the best engineering team there was. So if you really cared about the investors, you would have made sure Hardge got paid, did whatever EPA tests, and showed the public like I showed my stuff, and them shareholders be happy, and the damn shareholder be riding with Tesla, because Tesla don't have what we had. And they know it. I had people from New York that came to me personally, say they had loan. I guess they invested. Let me make sure I don't be incorrect because I may have to subpoena them. They was a big venture capitalist group, and they said they had gave a lot of money to Tesla, and having my technology would assure that they will recoup their investment. Okay, and that they could get the Elon Musk and all of that. I told them I was already under some agreements. I don't know if that would be feasible. They flew to me twice. You can't lie about that. It was my lawyers, everybody was there. So if I'm a fraud, then that means everybody is a fraud. Everybody, the lawyers, one of my lawyers, a former circuit judge for over 20 years, all of them fraud. That means all of them dumb and stupid because none of them did their proper due diligence and vetting and all of that. But you want to use somebody's past. Look at the Bible. I mean, I'm just saying, look at Moses. He had killed somebody, but yet he led the people out of Egypt. The list goes on. It ain't how your life started, how you ended. Okay? If the only thing you want to hold against me that is true, every now and then when I go in the lab and I'm inventing, I smoke some weed because I get excited to keep me calm, which is legal. You can't go to jail for that. I guess I'm a bad man then because I don't do cocaine. I don't do hard liquor. I don't be out in the streets at night. I'm at home when it gets dark.
Ain't nothing out there but trouble.
That's it. So if you want to make me a criminal, that's fine. But I know who I am. I know what I invented. I filed patents on the new technology. My patent lawyer's been patent attorneys for 40 years. One of my lawyers represented DeLorean when he got in trouble. Morgan Roth, he the one got DeLorean out of trouble. Come on, man. I got some powerful people behind me. All the way up to the White House.
The current lawsuit that Mullen has filed against the brokers for illegal short selling. Are you familiar with the
yeah, I'm familiar with it. I'm familiar with it. I don't know all the details, but I don't think that's the reason why Mullens has been having a problem. I think the problem is right there at the top in his data.
Are you in communication with Mr. James Taylor at this time?
I have been in communication with Mr. James Taylor since the last time he was texting me and calling me, and I got his text messages to come to Michigan and do the EPA test. But this time they said that they would pay for it and they would pay my expenses to come, pay for the engineers. This may have been about whatever day that was, because 2 people had called me, sir. And I told him I would do it. I had no problem with it as long as she was going to pay me. He assured me that I would get paid. And the next damn day, sir, there was an AK file and somebody called me and said, Mullen said they got no intention of doing any business with you. And I texted James Taylor and asked him, what kind of fucking games y'all playing?
And are you familiar with any of the Randy Marion situation? And because that's what a lot of the vans that your technology would have been upgraded with would have been going to Randy Marion. So did you have any involvement or?
No, but what I do know is when we was working on the vans, we knew they didn't have no airbags. There was only one or two. And the engineers that was there said that's the way they came. And my team was saying, well, look, how hard gonna make any money in production when we got all these things that's got to be done, that's got to be approved first before Hardge can make any money on the 49%. And all I kept getting told was focus on what I was there for and not all the other stuff. That's Mullen's problem, not mine. Just do the test.
And the only payment they ever gave you was that $50,000 as a good faith payment?
Yes. And I got the bank records to show it too.
Did that come from Mullen Automotive or Mullen Technology?
Mullen Automotive. It came from California, whatever that is. I have to look at my bank account and tell you whose name was on it, but I do know it was Mullen. Because James Taylor had called me and told me your $50,000 payment should be there within a half hour. And true enough, it was there.
Hey, Lawrence, Iván Garcia out of the East Coast. I wanted to ask you about the whole DC debacle. Are you planning to go after Washington for unpaid wages?
Yes, I do.
Do you have?
Yes,
do you
I
have
do.
something in the court system at the moment, or is that like still being prepared?
Well, we're being prepared. I just had to hire quite a few attorneys, some high-profile attorneys that the whole world know who they are, and they're putting some strategies together now because the former attorney who faked his death, he conspired with Roger Bowles to do what he did. So it's just a mess where they all got together. They're subpoenaing their records. We got text messages and all of that, but they're subpoenaing their text messages and email, and we already know some of the stuff where it's going to show where they was sending emails to Mullens, which got to David Mitchery. They also tried to attack David by sending him a subpoena to come to court. But I think David
Jonathan Newt, correct? The CFO, both of them.
Yes. But all of that got torn up when my lawyers started tearing them to pieces. So David was never subpoenaed, nor the other guy. See, nobody tells all of that.
One last thing, would you be able to provide the community with a list of different court cases that we can follow whenever the time comes?
Well, you can follow the one right now, what I'm talking about in court now with the Roger Bowles. It's in the Nashville Circuit Court. Roger Bowles versus Lawrence Hardge and Lawrence Hardge versus Roger Bowles.
I thought there was a settlement in that case. Is it still ongoing?
No, I'm not paying him one dime for what he done. Actually, what happened was, let me say this to you. This is how the $4 million settlement came about, okay? When I was dealing with the Rothschild family, the $20 billion deal, the guy Roger Bowles just said, the lawyer who Travis Vance, y'all can Google him. You'll see where he faked his death, Travis Vance Jr., because a reporter sent me the news article. I didn't even know that happened to the man. and the former governor pardoned him, and that's why he's practicing law today. But he had conspired with Roger Bowles. And because we knew we was getting $20 billion, and he also met with the people that came from New York, he knew what kind of money it was. And we couldn't figure out why Roger was knowing every move we make with every deal, and come to find out he was the one feeding Roger Bowles the information. So that was part of the reason some of the deals got delayed. So we weren't able to pay Roger Bowles the $4 million, and he took me to court for the $4 million. That's it. And now, if he had just stayed out of the way and not did all what he done and got with them and sent all this stuff to the media, he would have been already paid his $4 million and life have been gone. So now I'm asking for $10 million for damages for what he done.
Oh, so there's a countersuit.
Yeah. Yes. Which they conspired and all of that. So right now, it's a lot of people running scared and telling on each other. And this is the last thing they want to hear, me to come out and tell the truth regarding Mullens.
And it was Mr. Bowles who initiated that last lawsuit that was thrown out a couple of weeks ago. That
Yes. They even paid one of my close friends to lie on me. I mean, the guy grew up with my family, and he went and filed a false affidavit. And now he tell the courts he was trying to protect Travis Vance. Well, Travis a lawyer, he could have protected his own self. You went in there and lied on the oath. You signed the affidavit. And the judge threw your stuff out. Nobody's putting that in the news, are they, sir? It's public information on Nashville Circuit Court. My attorney is Mary Parker, civil rights lawyer. Come on now, let's tell the truth if we're going to talk about it. And so if anybody deceived the investors, I don't even have to say that. You know who all deceived them. Not Lawrence Harge. Hell, I could go into Mullens right now, but in 4 weeks, you have more information and accurate information than you ever could even ask for. And I tell you what, half of the people with Mullens would be fired.
sounds like we need to campaign for Harge for CEO.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying I would fire him. And I wouldn't be making no articles on speculations. And I wouldn't be out taking investors' money, buying other people's technology that they're proving is a failure. When you go to paying $5 and $10 million, that's taken away from the profit from the shareholders. Focus on stuff that's going to bring imminent profits.
Agreed.
Don't we make an announcement, because at a certain time, people gonna stop buying your stocks when they start losing faith in you providing and doing what you say you're gonna do. And now they can't refute me. I got three of some of the largest companies in the world that's behind me and signed contracts. Let me go to court. I bet I put it on the table. Then everybody be looking like a fool. James Taylor, you know I respected you. I ain't never disrespected you in any kind of way. Me and you always had some good conversations and all of that. And I know Mullens bailed your bankrupt company out, and your loyalty is to David because of what they done. But at the end of the day, all of y'all got to live with and go to bed at night and knowing what is truth out there and what isn't true. Okay? Nobody disrespected him. Anything he asked me to do, I done it. And he know I'm not lying. And if he lie, he know I got emails and text messages to refute what you say. And David know I got it too. And I got my phone records. I had to go through my phones. Well, I got new phones now, flip phones and the new Droids and all that, Google Pixels. But I could go to my old phones and look at the text messages and give you the name of that retail investor who called and pleaded with me to do the test, and that David would pay me, and telling me if he didn't pay me, they would take him off the NASDAQ. Well, I guess they didn't care about being taken off the NASDAQ because they never paid me. And he can't lie either. Because I got his phone calls 3-4 times. And he certainly wasn't calling to invite me to dinner. What was he calling me for? Any other questions before I let you guys go? I'm more concerned about those shareholders. Nothing else. And David, you listening, you know I'm telling you what's right. Do the right thing, brother. You got shares. Show the people you care. Don't cash those shares in. Let it go back into the company. Y'all got millions. Buy them shares back. And you step down and those shareholders will have hope. They won't lose. Hell, I'll come and help you for the shareholders. You ain't got to pay me no millions of dollars. I'm already set. Step down. Even if you just put a temporary CEO in to tell the truth. So you got people working for you. They need money. And they ain't trying to say nothing to hurt their opportunity to keep making money from Mullens. But tell the truth.
Mr.
Okay, you put the airbags in there. What else got to be done to those vans? Tell the truth. Have y'all fixed all those problems?
Well, Brad from Random Marion says that they are working on airbags and modules. At the moment, we have a question from Mr. Wolfgang.
I don't know if I haven't heard of him, but go ahead. I think I have just his name on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm probably one of your harshest critics, but I appreciate you coming on and doing a tell-all. Seems like a lot of things. The once verified is obviously stuff that we didn't know. If you wouldn't mind responding, what happens a lot within this stock and Mr. Lawrence Harge is when Mullen is going into a time where it's very sensitive, where like right now they're facing a delisting or maybe there was a vote or something like that. It just seems every time we're just a few weeks away, Mr. Lawrence Harge gets brought back up. Now, I'm not saying that's nefarious. I'm just trying to, if you would.
Well, that's a legitimate question. That's it. I don't think he's wrong for asking that. When I say something, it has nothing to do whatever Mullens got going on or whatever. That's not my angle to hurt Mullens. Please understand. You got to understand when I say something, it's because I'm getting bombarded with Mullens shareholders begging me to do something or say something to help them. Because I got text last night from a few people saying, I don't quote me, I had to look at them, that they only got 0.1% of their money left. So
do you feel at any time with your conversation with James Taylor that with the videos that they were looking for some way to increase the stock price because of that?
Well,
do you feel like that you were used at any point?
I feel like I was used because there was like thousands of Mullen shareholders that believed in me. And they knew I was going to tell the truth, okay? If they had asked me publicly, were we ready? I would have told them the truth. If they had asked me about anything, I would have told them the truth. And they felt like I was a hope that they had because David wasn't telling them anything. And I would ask them why David won't speak up. And then James Taylor said, Mr. Hardge, I can't explain that to you why he does it. I say, but he's killing the company. He needs to speak up. And he said, and then he once said, I see you got a lot of supporters with Mullens. I say, yeah, because they know I'm going to tell the truth. I have no reason to lie. I'm African American. I have to be straight. I have to be truthful. And y'all give me this opportunity, but I'm not going to do a job where I can't be me and tell the truth and where we all can succeed. So, yes, if you want to ask the question, did I get used? Absolutely, yes, I got used. Because nobody made money off of me but Mullen. And my lawyers told me that. They made millions off of my involvement with those announcements. Now, if that's not true, you guys can look at what the sheriffs was doing when I came in and whatever, and I guess that'll prove what's right. But I haven't gone out and do no investigation. All I asked was they pay me. Now, at this point, it don't even matter if they pay me or not. I'm not even interested. I'm not out to sue. I mean, I considered suing Mullens, but with what's going on now, since it's going to clear my name, I'd rather stick with what's already cleared my name versus doing anything to sue Mullens and hurt them investors. I don't want to be a part of that. They got to have a solution.
I think at this point, the best thing for the investors would be justice and the truth.
Yes. You don't want to hear the truth, don't call
sounds like you have
Harge.
more of a conscience than Mr. David Mishry, sir. So yeah. I do applaud you for that and stepping up and telling it like it is.
No other way.
Hey, we have a question, Mr. Lawrence from Semi. Go ahead, Semi.
Hi. Yeah. I just kind of, looked a little bit at your background, and it's a very interesting technology that you've got there. I was wondering, Mullen aside, are there any other companies that are considering that technology, or just things that you think are on the horizon that?
Oh yes. I know 5 right now that we're working with, and if I say their name, I'll get in trouble for insider trading. So I'm sure they're gonna be making an announcement very soon. I'm not gonna say 2 weeks that I get beat up on. But I do know at least 2 of them is going to close for the end of the year because we was told that they want to clear out their books. And the other companies say they would like to wait until the first quarter of next year and pay me during that quarter. Okay?
All right. So once those, I assume it's going to be an 8K announcement. Once they drop, then you'll be able to disclose who's working with you. And I think I know you can't drop any inside ball here, but would that be a material contract for those companies? Not necessarily for you. I know that, in the grand scheme of things, $5 million to you might be a lot. $5 million to Toyota might not be.
$5 million is a lot, but it's not a lot compared to the deals that's on the table. Put it like that.
I see. And so they would be material deals for those companies.
Yes. And one thing about them, they are not going to delay production. That's why we're getting the products produced now, where we can produce at least a minimum of 100,000 units a month. And the manufacturers, we got all that signed and everything. So I owe you no lie, okay? And they're based in the USA.
They're United States based. Are they all auto producers, or are they other types of products?
Well, they auto manufacturing a host of auto manufacturing products. That's their specialties.
Okay. And
matter of fact, they drew up the blueprints for me and got all the SKUs, did all the investigation to get the SKU parts, pricing, and all of that. That's how much they want to be a part of this. And if they listen, I want to say thank you once again. Thank y'all for believing it.
Are they publicly traded?
No. A couple of them that wants to do it, they are publicly traded. But the private company, they're saying that they can handle whatever the public company can handle. So I don't know how that's going to work out. I'm just the engineer now and the silent, partner on the background. But the company now, I'm like an employee for them who's doing all the deals now, which is good because, hey, the people that come in, they got more, their pockets are far deeper than mine and Mullens and a host of other these companies around here that's in the electric business. Matter of fact, I think they got more money in the electric car industry out there other than Tesla. So I'll leave it at that. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for that question.
I got one question. Thanks,
let's go. We do have Wolfgang wants a follow-up. We'll get to D-Fly after that, and then Mr. Muhammad, yes, sir, after that.
Okay.
Thank you, Flood, for letting me do a follow-up. Mr. Hardge, you sound more sincere right now than I think I've heard in the past, and maybe that's just a misjudgment on my part. You have made it clear that you don't want to start any type of thing against Mullen. You made it clear when Mr. Sanchez was up on the line that you kept telling him to subpoena you, bring you to court, do all of that. It sounds like you really want to talk. So if somebody were to do a case against Mullen or something like that, and they subpoenaed you, would you be willing to go up and basically just say everything that you said under oath here?
Absolutely. I'm not going to lie. You won't be charging me with perjury.
No. Thank you for the honest answer.
Yes.
Okay, Miss D. Fly, go ahead, ma'am.
Mr. Harge, I just wanted to get clarity. I know that there was a Saudi deal that was on table, and then you said it fell through. I just want to confirm, is it back on or is it done?
Yes, it's still on. Matter of fact, I saw some people beating up on me about the one guy that was from Lebanese and the other guy was from Saudi. I was not making a deal with them. Those were representatives that went to the companies and flew over there on my behalf. Okay? So let's just get that clear. All right?
So when do you think these deals will come to fruition?
Excuse me?
When will these deals come to fruition?
Well, if I leave it up to them, they want to come immediately, like right now. But right now, what we're doing is we trying to sort out the different companies that we have on the table now, so we don't cross over into somebody else's contract, and then they turn around and sue us for breach of contract. So when I was dealing with Mullens, Mullens was talking about certain territories where they wanted to utilize my technology out of the country on the vans, and we were still dealing with the Saudis who wanted they wanted to have some of the countries that Mullens wanted. And that's why I can't understand why would they tell David would tell the shareholder that he knew nothing about a Saudi deal. But yet you sent me a cease and desist, and I can't say anything. So, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, we are moving. And matter of fact, let's just take it a little further. So I'm not lying. The Saudi deal that we was working on, the agreement that I had verbally made with them, but it never came to fruition because all of the madness. We were going to share the profits 50-50, contingent upon Mullens was going to have all their engineers to assist me to make sure we meet all demands from the company for what they required of us. So how would you feel? How would you feel if you see something in the news saying they didn't know nothing about it?
Understood.
And then on top of that, the company offered to buy Mullens.
So that was through that Rothschild's deal, the Saudi deal, the Saudi deal.
No, not the Rothschild deal, the Saudi deal. The Saudis wanted to buy Mullens. And then
like all of Mullen or just the battery side?
Excuse me?
All of Mullen or just the battery side?
All of Mullens. They wanted to buy the company and get rid of David.
Interesting.
Wouldn't the easiest way be for the PIF, the Public Investment Fund, to just go ahead and pretty much just gain the majority of shares that the Mullen would have in order to just accomplish that, in your opinion?
Well, that probably would have been easier, but they don't took a different twist. I don't know their reasons why. I can't speak to that. I only relayed the message that was provided to me to give to David, and I did it through Mr. Taylor, and he came back, and the answer was a no.
So, 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, there's a lot of back-end paperwork and rules and regulations that they need to go through to get there. Lawrence, I have one last question. It's more of a request, but since you're in contact with Jim Taylor, would you just let him know that we'd love to speak with him for him to come on here? If you could just pass that on, that'd be great.
Yeah, I got his personal cell phone number. He called me numerous times, and my CEO. You know who my CEO is. I don't think he'll come on there and lie because I don't think he want my CEO to come out and tell the truth. Okay, because we got everything we've done. One thing about my CEO, he keeps good paperwork.
And Laura.
Yes. Now we're going to go ahead and go to Mr. Muhammad.
Yeah, thanks, Fadadi. Laura, what do you know right now? What would you have done different about Mullen in the beginning?
Well, I had already had plans for Mullens from the beginning. And since they was going to make me vice president of technology, I would have never bought not one single technology from any outside company. I would have taken probably $1 million and perfected everything that we had that they have already. I would have not acquired any other additional facilities. My focus would have been to hire engineers. I brought in my team to work with their engineers because they're some good guys. I have nothing bad to say about them. They just need the proper guidance. And I think, I'm not bashing Mullens because I'm prohibited from bashing them. It just, whoever's advising Mullens, they're advising them down the wrong path. This is not the way you take products to the marketplace, okay? And especially when you're a publicly traded company. You have to show the shareholders some consistency. You have to be transparent. If you have something and it's going to take 6 months to a year to get it to the marketplace, tell the public that. Keep them abreast how we're proceeding to reach that goal, and show them that their money is being managed properly. And I wouldn't go out, buy no jets or anything, no new houses, no nothing during the time that there's a struggle with the investors' money. I would show that I'm trying to save every single dime that I possibly could. If I had to lay off some folks to cut the salaries to generate more profits, that's what I would have done. I laid it out to the guys when they was going to hire me. I was very excited because, as I mentioned, when I saw the vans and my team saw it, they kind of joke, say it's a clown van. The motors are no different almost than the motors that's in the golf cart that we made go run 26.6 hours nonstop flow to the throttle, when those vans cannot run a couple hours with the feet to the throttle. I just would have done things different. I know that's kind of a little late to say that now, but I don't know if it was just people just intimidated with my intelligence, and maybe they felt I was trying to make them look bad. And I told James that many a times. I'm not here to make anybody look bad. I'm not here to be critical. I want us to be like family, and we work together. And he said, well, Hardge, all they want you to do is a test, and we could end up doing a partnership, and we could produce the vans, but nobody never really disclosed how many vans, where they were, none of that. Everything was kept a secret from me, okay? Other than what I dealt with inside of the facility, okay?
Thank you. Thank you for answering that.
Go ahead, Mr. Rahman.
Hi, Mr. Hardge.
How you doing, sir?
I heard a few times you've talked about this black box technology. And
well, it's not really black box. They asked me to change the name.
Okay.
Okay. I had gave it the black box, and people totally misconstrued that, sir. And
because of the association with the airplane technology.
Oh, right.
That's no, not about that. Well, there were some people talk about the black box, but the black box with the airplane technology is a locator system. Reason I had named it the black box, that was my decision, but we changed it later, and Mullens and all of us agreed to change the name to an energy management module, okay? And reason being, the black box that you saw, that somebody made it like that was the technology. Let me explain to you what that black box is. See, nobody lets me talk. That is a 220 box that you can use to connect to a washing machine, or whatever runs out of 220. You can use that box if you plug your RV in, okay? We never showed all the other components that come with it. That was just the box to plug our system in, where it's a plug and play on the vehicles, and it's considered a aftermarket product, just like something you buy for your car or lights. It's aftermarket, so it doesn't affect the warranty or whatever you putting it on. All that system that goes with that, it runs in conjunction with the hardware in the car, software as well. All that plugs into that and plugs in an existing battery. Somebody go dig up somebody at University of Maryland and say they didn't think that box could do all what the test proven. Absolutely not. That's kind of funny, you know?
Well, but energy management on these EVs is a pretty hot topic. You know, the efficiencies are not so great. So I'm curious if will you be marketing this technology in the future?
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, I signed a deal with Mullens. They know about it. See, all Mullen has to do is say, look, the truth. Harge didn't just come in and hide and do what he did. He had some of our own engineers working with him while we were doing the installs. You got it? I ain't never heard nobody from Mullen come out and say that, okay? But they just let me just get lambasted. They never refuted the University of Mullens. Somebody sent them some with the black and the negative and the positive cable running out the box with a ground and saying, this is his technology. Wow. And said I went to DC and conned them with a box that didn't work. But did you notice DC never said nothing that it failed or it didn't work? Everybody was proud of me. Only problem I had with DC.
So you actually installed some of the units on the DC vehicles?
Yes, and drove them around.
So
Nobody telling
did you
me
remove that technology?
Wow, that's great.
Once the deal was canceled?
Yes, listen. We had people working every day, sir. You get what I'm saying? And we did everything. Man, I'm gonna show you how honest I am, okay? One of the cars, see, the reason why we was doing that and testing and putting the technology on it, we wasn't telling them because we didn't want nobody the nights that we left it on there to come try to go across the gate or the fence and go and try to take it. You follow me? So we kept that private among ourselves. But let me just show you what kind of man I am with integrity, okay? We log in everything we do. We kept daily reports, okay? We did baseline on these vehicles to see what they did before we put our technology on it, okay? And if we ran across any cars that had a defect, that was defective, we would let DC know so they can let the General Motors know that we got a car that has some, malfunctions or whatever. We was baseline testing one of their vehicles, and it had 586 miles on it after we charged it, okay? Now, mind you, my technology is not on that, okay? The guys, engineers, matter of fact, Mullen engineers was out there too. My engineer discovered, took it to him, and he showed him. They said, Mr. Hardge, what you want me to do? I went and got James, and I showed him. I said, now, I just want y'all to witness this. This car is defective. That is a malfunction with the software. The car is not getting 564 miles. We need to pull this one off and send it and give it back to DC and let them decide what they're going to do with it. And because I can't let it go through and having people think that is real data that is getting 564 miles. We did it. They set it aside. But what they did ask me was, which I told them it was okay until they send it back. He said, because we need every car we bring in, got to go back out on the road because we got employees that got to drive these cars to give out tickets. I said, well, I tell you what, it's not going to harm the car. It's not going to catch a fire. We just need to log the data in that mileage is not correct. And they can go ahead and keep using the car. But I just want to make sure it don't get signed off if though that's my technology on there and it's getting 564 miles. What more honest person could you hire, sir?
So how much range do you think that your technology might extend these? Do you have any tests yet, or are you still working on it?
We've done all of that, sir. Recorded, video. I mean, other companies driven it like Hyundai, all of that. The military drove it. I mean, the list goes on. We was getting 396 miles on a Chevy Volt that the average with passengers in it, it gets like 200.
200. So could be about double on some of these, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And DC never came out and said I didn't do it. Have you noticed that? My contract was basically, and I have the emails and the texts from Washington, D.C. that they sent to Mullen saying, stop making press releases though they are partner with the D.C. government. And
So
Mullen did it one last time and I got kept.
Mullen was requesting that you no longer associate. Say that again.
No, D.C., Washington, D.C. was sending cease and desist letters and emails to Mullens telling them to stop making announcements that made it appear that they was a partner with me on the DC deal.
So they wanted Mullen not to make announcements about the DC deal that you had.
Right.
Hello, Mr. Hardge.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hardge, I had just one question, like your black box technology. So what is the basic principle of its working like? So does it obey all laws of conservation of energy, the laws of thermodynamics? Does it obey those laws? Or it promises something like how you explained it? It recharges stuff without any input while it's standing. So how does that actually work? Just the principle. I'm not asking you details, but on what principle?
Let me say this to you. Okay, so
what's the magic behind the mystery?
Okay, let me just say this to you. I saw some out there on X. Okay, number one, as you know, you cannot patent perpetual energy. Okay. Number two, you can't take an alternator, alternator that's used for a combustible vehicle that is operated on where the battery is only there to start the car. But once the car is started, it's working to offer heat from gasoline, spark plugs, and all of that. Okay. With electric car, okay, batteries, okay, without giving the secret sauce. When you have these batteries, you're pulling amps from the battery. That's what keeps the car running, okay? When you get to talk about a better battery, pretty much all the batteries are the same. You're going to get the same results. But every now and then, somebody may come up with a battery. They don't create something, some similar skateboard technology or something, and they may get a 2, maybe 3% increase on the mileage, okay? But at the end of the day, when you, however much energy you use with that car, if you want to use it the next day or you just want to drive it till you deplete the energy, you still have to recharge it. The more you recharge it, you kill the cells. What extends the life of a battery is the solution to not deplete all the energy, in other words, that kills the cells, and therefore it lasts longer. So if you can replace and save that energy without using it, not only does it increase the lifespan of the battery, but it also prolongs the depletion of the battery, which allows you to get more mileage out of a battery. I didn't create nothing that took rocket science. I'm a high school graduate. So what our engineers put it together, what they do, they interpret it. They like my interpreter. If I speak Chinese and they are different language, they interpret what I done. So that's when they came and changed. They said, Harge, because I didn't even really, be honest with you, when I was doing what I was doing, I really didn't know how I even got those results. See, people don't talk to me. Let me explain, go a little further, okay? So
see, what you're doing right now is you're controlling the narrative. So let me just ask you a basic question. You didn't explain anything about the principles. Which principle does it work? And you're talking about extending the battery life, but you're saying your battery recharges.
I was about to get
your
into
battery recharges when it's dead, when it's sitting down on the parking lot. So from where is it getting that energy to replenish itself? That's what I'm asking you.
Actually,
I'm not asking about how you're conserving energy.
Let me explain something to you, sir. That's another question, okay? And that's why we brought in the professionals to come in and work all that out, because that's above my pay grade. the box that we put on it, not that 220 box, okay? Well, we came up with a
220, do you mean
system.
220 volts, amps, watts? What 220
That's
watts?
a box. That's a box. If you look at the box that somebody put out there, they made like that was the technology. That was just a plug to plug the 220s in. That's already.
Most EV batteries are what, 225 volts, around there?
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
What is the voltage range of most EV batteries?
Well, they use most EVs. They have they can range from 10 batteries, 12 to 14 volts batteries. So you can do the weight there. Some of them have them.
Well, yeah, but in a golf cart, they're run parallel.
Yeah. That's we have like 7 batteries in a golf cart. But remember, that's direct current. There's no regenerative assist or none of that on the golf cart. Okay. But we put the technology on the golf cart because it was direct current. So we came up with a solution. Okay, if we store energy while we're utilizing energy using a heat process. When that car stops, that energy that's stored, you can't store energy in a battery, but you can have assistance with a battery, which we would consider a
power capacitor stores energy.
Yeah, but not enough energy to get the results that we have, sir. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Now, that's one of the things we have on there, but we have other things as well. Okay. So your question is, without giving the secret sauce, that is one of the items that's on there, among other things. But the question of the day was what I was saying. They went out and made me look like a fraud by saying that you got all these results that we got with all these international testing companies, that it came from a 220 box that nobody knows where it's plugged up at. Okay? So once again, and also there's inverters that have to be required, and I'm not going to give you the rest that we use.
Like a DC to AC inverter?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And there was other things we use, and when you put all that together, you got the results that you have with Mullens, Element. We went to a NASCAR in Michigan. They tested it. A host of other people. So they can't refute what I've done. Hey, listen, if you forgot to put one piece on the technology and this country boy put it on there and made it do what it did, don't beat him up, because y'all got enough money. Y'all can take it to a whole nother level. You follow me? If he came up with this and it was simple, why not do what these other big companies doing? Oh, they got the resources. They enhancing it because they got the money to make it better. Now they know what the problem is. It ain't building more batteries, a better battery. You know what I mean? So that's what I done, sir. That's what I
in some terms you're using a DC to AC inverter to step up probably to 110 and then use another inverter to step up to 220 to power an EV battery charger that is then running a continuous loop.
Yeah.
And also while you driving it, it makes it even better because that perpetual energy is keeping it charged as well. But you can't get a patent issued on perpetual energy. You can roll a ball off
all
the hill.
Technology already exists. Yours is more or less just an application of current technology.
Correct. I didn't create something. I'm using the same technologies. That's why it's classified as an aftermarket. The patent lawyers made that clear with the companies and all of that. Everybody understood it that's doing business with us. So it ain't like I defrauded or misled anybody. I did something and it worked. They could have solved that problem. GM or Ford or anybody. If they had an engineer in there that just thought of something different like what I did, they could have used it, and hey, there it goes. It's no different when we started off with the Model T car. And today, now you got cars, fuel injection, you got hybrids. You can drive 600 miles with a full tank of gas versus you had to get out in front of the car and crank it up. It's just a new evolution, sir. That's all. And I'm glad to be a part of it. And I see the day when they're going to take this technology that I got, They're going to use it on airplanes, helicopters, military tanks, you name it, drones, all of that. So instead of beating up on Hardge, do like the other companies. When they said all that madness was going on, they said, it's got to be something they beating up on this man. Let's sit down and talk with him. And even before then, we were doing that.
Well, that actually speaks to the question I was going to ask. Can you hear me?
Sure. I'm here.
Go ahead, Semi.
Yeah, my question was going to be around power output and kind of like the rate of power output. Does that make it viable for aircraft applications? And if so, are you in talks with any of the major aircraft drone manufacturers? Because that would really go a long way towards dealing with the tyranny of the rocket equation, right? Maybe are you considering this for spacecraft?
Yeah, the matter of fact, the company that's dealing with me, they said they're going to take it to that level with other companies as well. You got to understand, guy, I don't have billions of dollars in the bank, okay? I might be lucky if I have close to 3 in the next 60 days, but it won't be hundreds of billions of dollars. And these folks have hired some of the best engineers in the world to take it to another level. And I'm glad to see it, that I live to see this happening. And I want to see how they're going to enhance it and make it much better to do just what you just spoken of, okay? Now, I have an idea how they're going to utilize it. I think with those turbines on the airplane, with those turbines, and they generate so much power, I think they're going to take it to a level where they can fly from one end of the country to the other on pure energy. And I see that happening. There's no reason why it won't happen, but I just don't have the expertise to make it happen. But I do have a theory how they might utilize that compared to what's already going on a much smaller level with the automobiles. I mean, this technology is just not for cars. We use it in remote control cars, drones. We've done all of that, and it does well. But now they could take it to another level. Military tactics, man. You could probably fly the drones or whatever. They don't even hear the drone coming. And airplanes definitely going to be quiet. You won't have that rumbling and that turbulence that you get with these jet fuel aircraft that's flying over. And definitely with the Cessnas, when they fly over your house, you hear that motor is pretty loud. You know, electric motors, they're very quiet. And what you don't hear people saying is a good thing about electric cars is that the maintenance is very low. You don't have to change no oil. Basically, the only thing you have to do every now and then is change the cooling system. You may have to replace the tires because most all electric cars are front end pull and it wears the tires out quickly. But for as the motors, you could get up to 600,000 miles on an electric motor versus most American cars, gasoline cars. After 50,000 miles, you start having all type of mechanical problems. So the bigger the motor, the longer it will last. So. It's just technology just changing. My work is done. I've done my part, and now the big boy's gonna take it to another level. And I don't have to worry about people beating up on me because I'm a small fish and these are big fish, and ain't nobody gonna pick at them. So that's where we are. I just hate the fact that I was really gung ho with Mullens, and I just knew I was gonna change the world with them, and they had my back. That's all. And I just got disappointed, and I just couldn't take it no more. That people think I played a role in trying to hurt them with their shares. I'm not that kind of person, guy. Honestly, that's not in my nature.
Can you elaborate on that? Nobody can patent perpetual energy. So, are you telling me that you have found a way of generating perpetual energy and you cannot patent it because the law says that you cannot patent it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. You can't patent that, but you can patent other technology. But you can't.
No. What I'm saying, you can't patent it. Doesn't mean that you can't invent it. That's what you're saying. Means you invented it. Just the law is stopping you from patenting something which we have invented, which is called perpetual energy, and that is preventing you from patenting it. The law, not that you cannot generate perpetual energy. That's what you're saying, right?
Correct.
So you have found a way of creating perpetual energy to solve the energy crisis of the world. Like you don't need any input. That black box of yours will generate energy perpetually till the world ends.
When that car is moving, it generates it.
And how is that? Like, on what principle? Like, means in engineering, we have learned that perpetual machines are only theoretical. They can generate.
No. Let me explain to you, sir. You've been an engineer. That's good. You got a good question. First of all, when you generate perpetual energy, that's like free-wheeling energy, okay? And it's also like on a bicycle. I don't know if you remember when we were growing up, you could put a headlight on a bike and you put the little modular on the wheel, and long as the wheel was turning.
That's a dynamo. That's the dynamo. That's a complete different kind of thing. That's
you're
converting a source of energy to a different form of energy. But in your explanation, you're saying that the car at rest, there is no motion, there's no kinetic energy, there is nothing supplying that energy. Energy can only be created. It cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be converted from one form to the other. So
that's right. 100%.
At rest.
So what I created, sir, has nothing to do with rocket science. I created something using what's already existing where it stores the energy, okay? For instance, and we've proven this too, okay?
No, you're saying it stores the energy, but where is it being created from? That's what is my question.
It's being created from the generative that's already generating energy from the car. We're using the same power from the batteries. Hold on now. I don't want to give the secret sauce. It takes energy.
It's not the secret sauce. There's no secret sauce in this. This is basic principles. You have to generate energy to store it. So you're saying that your car, your device stores it, but where does it generate it from? That's my question.
Well, if I give you the secret sauce, then we won't be on this phone here, okay? But
it's not the secret sauce. It's the principle. How you get it? That's your circuitry. But what is the basic principle?
Hold on, sir. Because I'm not fighting with you.
I'm not fighting with you. I'm an engineer, so I'm.
Hold on. In order to give you the complete answer what you want, I would have to tell you what we did to get that. And if you go to Mullens and anybody else, we provided independent tests to show what we created worked. And had Mullens paid me, they would have owned this technology. Okay? 100%. I went in there to give it to Mullens because I knew I didn't want to be fighting with these big boys. I was told I was be protected, and I wasn't. Now there's other people that's taking it, and they're going to utilize what I done and take it to the next level. So I don't want to get in trouble with these companies by saying what I say to you that shows you that it works. After all the testing, I'm not hiding anything, but I'm getting paid a lot of money for this technology, sir. So I think probably the best answer I could give you is when these companies make their announcement, let them answer whatever question they want because I don't own the technology anymore. Okay?
So are you at liberty to talk about who is funding you currently?
Nah, I don't want to do that. Nah.
And had you received any additional payments or assistance or protection from James Taylor?
Absolutely zero.
You just said somebody else owns the technology. That means that you've gotten into business with somebody else that can speak on the technology if they feel like it.
I'm sure they'll speak at the appropriate time, but right now, they want me to just do what I'm doing, and they want to clear the house with all the stuff that was done to me. And I'm sure they're going to make an announcement because when they do, you guys going to go out there and buy their tech. You're going to invest in their companies. That's a given. So I'm certainly not going to say anything. You would be a fool if you didn't invest because it's going to do well. And they got the resources, and they're not the kind of people that's going to just out to get money for just stocks, even though that'll be beneficial. I mean, I have companies that have come to me who wanted me to take this, when they found out I wasn't with Mullens, wanted to take the product and put it on a SPAC program and go public. And, companies that's already on the NASDAQ, and I told them I'm not interested in doing that because how do I know these people is just out to do a pump and dump? So I'm not interested in that. I'd rather just do it the right way, the way I chose to do it. And people that's already got plenty of money, and all this is going to do is just make it better for everybody. And I'm not saying Mullens is doing that. All I'm saying is if I was Mullen and I had a man that came in their facility He showed he was loyal. He paid for every single thing to prove that his technology worked. And all he wanted was to partner with an EV company and we take it to the next level. And I don't spend hundreds of millions on stuff that's really not valuable or worth anything. I would have gave him that $5 million as fast as you could blink your eye. And I would have made sure this man had the resources that he needs to take our company to the next level. But instead, they did the opposite. And now somebody saw the vision that I have, numerous people. And I'm pleased with it. And they're making sure I'm okay. They're making sure I'm okay until they finish whatever they're doing or whatever they got to do.
Harge, also,
Mr. Harge, I have a question. So the company that bought this technology off you, it's a publicly traded company?
One of them is.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, no. Let me make sure. I don't want to tell no lie. I don't know if they publicly traded or not. But some of the companies that's entertaining an agreement with me to wrap up, they are publicly traded. But the company that's paying me to make sure I'm okay to these deals wrapped up, they're a big company, but they're a private company. And they do have invested interest in a lot of these people that I'm dealing with. So,
Harge, so in that 4x6 box of yours, like what kind of battery tech is there which you say always that box stores the energy? So how does it store that amount of energy that once a car starts moving, that batteries are not required? That's what you keep on saying, right?
Hold on 1 second. So make sure we have understanding. It doesn't give the car a full charge. If anybody said it recharged the car fully, that is not true. It just increases the charge overnight. It increases an extra 15%.
No, you said that it rejuvenates it. That's what you got the DC deal for. The rejuvenation tech.
Oh, can I finish, sir?
Yep.
We haven't done like we done with this other technology. Before you can make fully claims on that, you got to do that same process repetitiously at a minimum of 2,500 restarts, okay? So you talking to a man that know the business, okay? We haven't done that. All we saw on numerous occasions, which the big company saw as well, they ain't buying it for the rejuvenation. They buying it for what it does to increase the mileage. They're going to take that part and take it to another level. In some cases, on the Chevy Bolt, they got a 25% rejuvenation process. And depending on how long the car was driven that day, or sometime they got 10 and 15, and one time they got up to a 40% rejuvenation.
But that's not what your website claims. Your website, many of the times, there was 300% mentioned.
No, the 300% increase is what we gave the vehicle when they charged it versus the baseline versus when we installed the technology, you got a 300% increase. Well, what I'm talking about is the rejuvenation process. That has nothing to do with the testing. We have not spent the money to finalize a claim of what is the true numbers for the rejuvenation process. That requires further R&D money, research, testing, like I mentioned to you.
So your technology is unproven then? It's not yet proven.
It's inconclusive at the moment. So now we're going to move on to Raj, who's got their hand up. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Hello, Lawrence. My name
How you
is
doing?
pretty good. My name is 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗘𝗖𝗧. I do have a question for you about this black box. I did join the conversation just a few minutes ago, so I may have missed a lot of the conversation earlier. So let's say any vehicle or whichever use of this black box is, and what I did hear was that the black box has the capacity to, was it essentially amass potential energy or store it, or which one was it?
Yes, it can store as well. But we didn't go into this technology to rejuvenate. That's just something we discovered along the way.
Right,
While we
right,
at the
right.
testing facilities, and they came back and said what it done.
So
And I couldn't
you're
explain
saying that it can store it, and then potentially with additional work, you can prove the fact that it can actually create more potential
Oh,
energy. Is
no
that
question
correct?
about it. No question about it. The companies that's buying it, that's one of the first things at the top of their list, what they're
Okay.
gonna work on. Okay.
So the company that's buying it, they're buying it for its ability to create potential energy. Is that correct?
Yes,
He said perpetual
Let
energy initially.
sir.
so,
The
so
car
let
does
me.
perpetual as well. You're trying to twist up something that
No,
I've
you said
already
that, right?
explained.
Yeah, means
No,
you
no,
have
hang on
found
a
a
second.
way.
It's my time on the floor.
Let him speak.
Whoever interrupted there. So I would like to have just one more clarification before I ask my question. So this black box is small enough that it could go inside any type of uh, device, whether it's for transportation of humans or it could go for any other
Well, let me
region.
explain something to you, sir.
Uh,
The box could be numerous sizes based on the amount of kilowatts that is needed
all right, that's
to
fine.
charge.
So
Okay.
here's my question, I guess. I just wanted to make sure I got caught up. Is
Okay.
that if, let's say, we utilize this box in a car, such
Yeah.
as, for example, Mullen. Now, would the box be able to produce the same numbers at sea level versus at the top of Mount Everest or Mount Kilimanjaro? That's my question to you.
Well, they would get the same results, the vans, which we've proven. And if we had stayed there a little longer, we could have probably quadrupled the mileage. But we never gotten to that point because part of the deal
So,
also
well, I'm not asking about the vans. I'm asking about sea level versus at the top of one of those, any top
be more
mountain.
specific when you say sea level, sir.
Sea level would be, I don't know. I live in Virginia, so I guess I'm maybe
Oh
60
yeah,
feet above
okay,
sea
yeah,
level.
yeah, yes. Well, that's one of the things. We went all up in Virginia, D.C., all down in Nashville, in the mountains and hills.
The
And
hills. And,
so what I,
I was
so my
asking about. I was just asking about the highest mountain grades, such as Everest or Kilimanjaro or any other, the Alps in Switzerland or
no,
anywhere.
I never went up in that, sir. I'm not gonna make any misrepresentation, but
No,
we
that's
did
fine.
use the
That's good.
technology.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I appreciate that. So what you're saying is that the numbers are pretty much the numbers are the same, whether it was up in the mountains of Virginia, West Virginia, or
Be the
down
Blue Ridge Mountains.
or Blue Ridge Mountains or Hawaii, closer to sea level. Is that correct?
yes. It's not. None of that is gonna change the technology, sir.
All
Okay,
right.
whether it's hot or
So
cold,
I
it's not gonna
will.
change.
All right, so then I will just conclude my time here just with one statement, sir, is that you have violated the basic laws of applied physics when it comes to potential energy, and I can tell you that
Exactly.
because I have applied physics background myself. Thank you, sir.
So coming back to the perpetual energy part, like Haj, you had just now mentioned that you have found a way of generating perpetual energy, but the government or the law of the land is not allowing you to patent it. So
Okay, now let me say something to you. Okay,
yeah,
we are patented. It is being patented the way we already filed the patents. Okay, what I
but
just
where is the
said
patent?
to
That's
you,
what I'm saying.
it's
Where is
already
the
been
patent?
filed. Mullens was presented proof of filing of the patent. So that if they come public, they'll tell you the patent lawyers did all that with them. But let me just pull it
You
further.
cannot patent
Sir, can I
anything that is
finish?
not
Can I
scientifically
finish?
possible.
Can I
It is
finish?
not scientifically possible,
Sir, can
sir.
I
I'm
finish?
sorry.
Your brain.
Can I finish? It doesn't
Go
matter
ahead.
if you can't patent that part of the patent. Long as you get the patent filed, that is the key elements of your technology. So know what that means? If anybody wants to utilize what we've done for us using the perpetual energy, we cannot sue them, we cannot challenge them or anything because the government made it clear. If you do your homework, you cannot patent anything that is perpetual, okay? That is final, and I won't debate any further with you. There another question anybody have to ask? Want to ask?
Yeah, I have a question about agreement with Mullen. Do you think that Mullen maybe put the brakes on that because they're not ready to move forward with their cars?
I don't know why Mullen did what they did. I can't answer that
I don't know
question.
why you're doing
But they
what you're
did sign a
doing.
contract
I
with
hope you
me.
realize that I am the
They
one
were
that
supposed to
called.
provide.
I hope you
They
also
were supposed.
realize that when you made up that whole thing about Saudi Arabia,
Sir, I got something to top lawyer. Nobody made up anything. Is there anything else you want to ask me? If you take me to court, you're gonna look like a fool. I'm gonna counter sue you like I do the rest that tells lies and go make bogus claims. But go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, Raman has a question. Go ahead, Raman.
Yeah, I was wondering if Mullen might have put the brakes on your deal because they're not ready to get their cars going. It looks like they've been very slow to get anything out of the lot.
Well, let me say this to you, sir. If that was the case, I'm the easiest person in the world to get along with. Just all they had to do was just say that. Okay? That's all I'm saying. We didn't have to be fighting. Nobody had to do anything. Okay? Yeah, when I come in, I did see they had a long road ahead of them, but that wasn't my place. David was the CEO. I was concerned when would I be getting paid from production. They also said that they was going to provide the money to do what these big companies are doing, to further do the research, make sure if there was any additional testing that need to be done. They was going to put the millions aside in an account separately for that. All of that, none of that never happened. Okay, so that's all I can say, which is the truth. Okay, so all it is, somebody else just came forward and did what Mullen was supposed to have done with me. So there's no need for us to be arguing. According to Mullen, they got many other things they got on the table that they could be doing. Although I don't agree with it, but that's not my choice. I don't make the decisions. I'm not the CEO. But just based on what I see and what I hear, and this is no attack on David, whether it be David or Elon Musk or anyone, AT&T CEO, Walt Disney, whoever. If your shareholders lose trust in you, step down and let somebody else come in that they can begin to feel they can trust. Now, if I hurt somebody by telling the truth about that, then so be it. Okay. If I was the CEO of something and people lost trust in me and my team say, hey, Lawrence, I think you need to step down. They don't believe in you. I would do just that so my company wouldn't fail. And if it profits, everybody wins. And that's the next gentleman that just got through talking. I recognize his voice. He's one of Mullen's engineers. And you listening, I recognize your voice. You was one of the main ones praising me if that was you. So I'm sure if that was you, they put you up to try to, diminish what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, if it wasn't you, you had a voice that's identically sound like the person that was sitting with me in all these meetings and was praising what I'd done. Well, we can move on. Any other questions, sir?
I've got a question about the airbags. As you said, when you first got there, you said they knew the vans didn't have airbags, and the way that it's being presented is that the airbags are a plug and play system. Do you believe that is even a feasible concept, that these vans that are not wired, of course, you've got to have many sensors throughout the vehicle, a centralized module, airbags, at least in the steering wheel.
That's absolutely correct. And if anyone wants to challenge me, they know I'm telling the truth. And my team was bringing that up when we came because they was under the pressure that pretty much we was going to come in and put my technology on. Everything else was all ready to go. And all we had to do is put our technology on and we could start mass producing. That they had facilities where other vans were. And my engineers were saying it's not that simple. And the next thing I know, I guess, my CEO comes to me and said, Mr. Taylor wants to fire the engineers that's talking too much. It's on my team. And I left it at that. And I talked to them, told them we're not here to evaluate Mullens vehicles or none of that. We just here to test and prove that it worked. and give them the 10% increase that they wanted. And we gave them about 65 to 75% increase. After that, our job was done. It was not to go do any further tests. That was not in my contract. Mullens cannot provide you with anything additional in my agreement that I was supposed to do more tests, and we were supposed to just get paid. And weeks would pass, and I didn't get paid. And when we walked away, a couple of weeks later, in the media, said I was terminated. So that is the truth. And I don't know if Randy Marin looked at what you were saying, because if you got a cargo van, it's not just having an airbag in the steering wheel. If you do the specs on these vehicles like they're supposed to, more than likely it's going to require side door airbags as well. Okay? So, and you're correct. So I would love, if they want to question me, show me the specs and the blueprints that's in place to put those airbags in the vehicle. Okay? Otherwise, I don't agree with no plug and play. Hell, my damn technology, which they try to make it like it was plug and play, there's no such thing on any electrical components that's a plug and play until you have all the components tested, proven. You can't even put a toaster oven on the market without getting an underwriter's laboratory approval and all of that. And then you can plug and play it, okay? Same as my technology. If you put stuff that's already UOL approved, already in the marketplace on something, then it's considered an aftermarket. So when I went to talking to the guy about how I created the perpetual energy, it's no need me to go into no arguments about that, because had nobody put the resources in until now to get it approved and certified where they can use it in all the cars. But right now, the technology without that, you can go ahead and use that. But the manufacturers right now, although they produce like, I think it's 20, maybe 30. Then they'll do the final mass production after the EPA signs off on it. They don't have no question the EPA not going to sign off on it, because they got all the requirements what's needed. It meets all of that. Yeah, it may meet that on your side of the fence, but you can't put nothing out there unless it's been signed off and approved. And you got to take it to independent testing labs like what we did with our technology. Not what you say it could do. It's got to be somebody that is not, don't care whether it fails or it succeeds. Their job is to test it and give you the results. And if it meets the results, what the government requires, then you can go to EPA and get it tested to whatever. Now, they can get by with the with using their airbag, as long as it's not a detrimental to the public. Meaning, if you're going to use it on a university campus, or at an airport where you just hauling supplies or whatever, you could do that. But when you start putting passengers in it, the government requires certain requirements, okay? And if you can't meet those requirements, you're not going to be able to get a license plate to operate the vans on any streets in the USA. Now,
so you were talking about the size of the electric drives on these vans were not much different than on a golf cart. And the vans have a label inside, a safety regulation from the manufacturer that they should not exceed, I think it's 20 miles an hour. Would these vans that they currently have even be able to drive interstate speeds of 60, 70 miles an hour?
Absolutely not. But they're not using the vans to be on the streets. They're selling those vans to be on, private property.
Right, the campus vans.
Yeah, okay. But my golf cart gets up to 24 miles an hour, the same amount of mileage that the vans could get. You got it? Only difference in the golf cart, may or may not. I mean, you can ride 4 people on the golf cart. That's about 800 pounds. I'm sure they're not going to put over 800 pounds in those vans hauling packages around the airport or on the campus. But when you decide you want to make it street legal, there's a lot of things that has to be done under the van, airbags, and a host of other things before you can make
you have to
it street legal.
retrofit a larger electric drive, and which would
All
require
of
larger
that.
battery packs.
Yes, yes. So that's what people never took the time out. I want to thank you guys for allowing me to speak and explain things, because a lot of people don't know. So, you know, I mean, for instance, with the big truck that they have,
The cab and chassis truck, go ahead.
yes, you know, I brought it to their attention that, you know, the system, the shock system that they're using in China is really not the same type of quality we would use in the USA. It's almost like it's got a back end chassis, just pure metal. The shocks has really no support. So if you take that truck and you drive it without any weight on it, that truck will bounce around from the back because there's no support there. And then if you put a lot of weight on it to keep it from bouncing like that, then it's going to deplete the battery much faster. Okay? These are issues that I was discussing and raising and saying, look, I don't want to make announcements on dyno testing. I like real world testing with passengers in it. Because if you notice, like right now, you're going to see this now, I mention this to you. When you see most people driving electric cars, it's normally just one passenger in the car. You never hardly ever see 2, 3, 4 passengers in the vehicle because their technology doesn't support the weight. And then when they give you an EPA test, remember, it's a disclaimer. It said based on the driving condition of the driver and the environment, okay? So if I put 4 passengers in my Chevy Bolt when I first got it, the car wasn't getting but 80 miles, okay? With 4 250, 300-pound guys, okay? We did street testing and all of that. That's with the lights off. With the lights and power and AC on, we may have gotten 65 miles. I got a Porsche that's supposed to have been doing 200 miles, okay? We put the same 4 guys in that car, got on the freeway. We ran that car up to 90 miles an hour for about 3 minutes at the most. The battery depleted almost 40%, okay, in that Porsche within 3 minutes, okay? So my technology was there to make changes and modify and enhance that. And through our testing and through our R&D, we discovered a lot more that the technology could be utilized for. However, I don't have and didn't have the resources to take it to the next level to perfect it. And that's why I was with Mullens, because they promised they would provide the R&D money to take a lot of this to the next level. Okay? So that's where we are. And it's sad to say that some other people is going to do just what I was hoping Mullens would have done. Because I thought everybody was beat up on David because he was coming out with this technology, because a lot of people didn't want to see my technology out. We caught people trying to steal it a couple of times, you know, on camera. Go in during the night and try to steal it, caught them on camera. But, you know, so I just figured maybe somebody paid him to try to do that or whatever. But at the end of the day, sir, before I let you guys go, because I probably spoke to you guys more than I speak to anybody, so we could put this in the air. I'm not out to hurt Mullens. I don't want to do anything that hurt Mullens. If there's something I can do to help them that doesn't conflict the contracts I have, so he can recoup some of those monies for the investors, I would do it. But I would never do anything to help them investors as long as David's the CEO. I ain't trying to be CEO. It wouldn't matter one way or the other. Just somebody that the people can trust and that knows the business, is not going to tell the shareholders something to rosy up what is actually going on. Tell them the truth. People won't get mad if you say it's going to be another 6 to 9 months before things are ready. But when you keep telling them it's going to be ready, and then when the time comes, it's not ready, and then you depleting all the funds, and now you got to do a reverse split that's going to sink the ship, people got every reason to be mad. And they're looking for anybody that they can blame for their losses. And that's what happened to me. I got threw out there like I was the reason. I was the one that they would have really done well with. Simple as that. If I was an investor, a major shareholder, I would have worked whatever that was with Mr. Hart. Even if you couldn't pay the $5 million, you wasn't willing to pay it. I would have did a payment plan, and you knew you would have got your profits and so forth back with the technology. If you got an Element, one of the largest companies, testing company in the world, been around since the 1800s, that validated what they tested. You got NASCAR, the guy been with NASCAR for years. Oh my goodness. You got other companies like Honda that's driven it. You got Ford Motor Company. You got me at the testing facility, all of that. For University of Maryland, I never met with them, never been on their campus. I don't know what somebody told them I had, but to go out there in the media and bash me and say it wouldn't work. I mean, did David do that? I don't know. Did the other guys do that? I don't know. Yeah, well, go ahead.
Yeah, we have one more question from Mr. Wolfgang. Go ahead, Mr. Wolfgang.
Go ahead.
Mr. Hardge, thank you for coming on. I feel like maybe I've been unfair in the things that you've said. You've said a lot that we obviously weren't aware of, right? And assuming that it's true, then you may have got a raw deal. And you put your technology aside, knowing if it works, knowing if it doesn't work. I'm not smart enough to understand all that stuff. So
it works, sir. I'm telling you, it worked.
Oh, I'm not saying it. I'm not even going to talk about that. I want. You have said a lot of things, kind of how you came into Mullen. You were brought in by an investor, kind of turned over to James Taylor. And it seemed like throughout the whole process, he was your handler, kind of a go-between between him and David. It sounds like you talked to David very much. So maybe there's
very little I talked to David, and it was very short conversations.
Okay, so maybe there's plausible deniability there on David's part. But do you feel, in your own opinion, and if you don't want to answer this, that's okay, but it just kind of sounds like you were brought in, maybe they didn't think your technology worked. They're just kind of wondering if it did, maybe it didn't. And since you came and
they didn't know if it worked when I came in, sir. That's what I want you to understand. They didn't know if it worked or not. They gave me an opportunity to prove that it worked, which I did at my expense.
Great. Let's give them that. And then since kind of I guess the separation, and you kind of haven't been in the picture with Mullen, but Mullen has suffered tremendously, and probably, in my opinion, probably would have with or without you. So hindsight, all these missed deadlines, reverse splits, all that stuff. In your opinion, do you feel like Mullen brought you in knowing that might be the case to kind of be like a patsy or a fall guy? Like, did that ever cross your mind? Like,
absolutely. And I'm just going to say this from a legal standing. It is my opinion I got used just for that reason.
And I guess that's kind of, maybe I misjudged you, and maybe I misjudged your character. And if I did, I apologize for that. But
okay, it's okay. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Well, and one of the things, it just seemed like, and by the way you explained it, is you would do things or say things or put out videos with Mullen knowing full well or even encouraging you to do it. And then when the time came, they didn't support the things you were saying or support you or backing you up. And they knew you were that you said and did those things and supported it. Is that what you said?
Yes, that's absolutely what I said. And they knew what I said was real. Every single thing as you go back to my conversation about even the Saudi people want to actually buy them out, all of that, you can't refute that.
Yeah, I just, it would be sad. Again, I can't speak to your technology. I look forward to see it be improved. Well,
it's already going in production, but it has a lot of other applications that I can't be on this radio saying that I know it works, but nothing works till you can have it independently tested and proven, okay? And as I mentioned to you, there are certain applications which it don't matter to us because we didn't sell it based on that. Doing the R&D and the research and development and testing, we discovered there was other applications, but we don't have the resources to put in that and perfect that and can file more and more and more patents. But these big companies do, and they're gonna take it to the next level. Okay, it's kind of like the guy created the WD-40. He didn't know it had over 200 applications when he created it. He invented it to clean certain things. After a period of further research and development, we come to find out WD-40 has many, many applications. This is the same scenario.
Yeah,
okay?
My favorite application was a makeshift flamethrower for WD-40. But in your opinion, because I don't know, like I even hate to ask this question because it just Mullen looks so real. Like I'm one of those investors that's down massive, and I learned a lot about as much as I could about Mullen because of that start. But did we as Mullen investors with what you saw and it doesn't even sound like they're ready for it. There's one van here and all that, all these different things. Like, did we back the wrong horse? Like, did we invest in something that just isn't there? And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we're out here in the woods going, did I make an error? Like, I guess.
Let me just say this to you, okay? I'm just gonna be candid, because one thing about it, I'm not gonna make up anything. I'm not gonna do anything to hurt Mullen, but I'm gonna give you the candid truth, my opinion, okay?
Yes.
I think Mullen, they set up to be prepared to do some of the things that they would have actually been able to do with some of the facilities they have. I wouldn't have bought as many facilities they have if I had been in the position where they are right now with their technology. I would have bought those facilities as production started to really expand and become profitable, because it's a lot of overhead to have all those facilities. And I would have kept it small, like most companies that start out. NASDAQ, they try to grow at a minimum. And I think I would have been a little more forthcoming to my investors about where we really are. For instance, like you and I, we're talking with my shareholders, okay? We're talking with the shareholders, just like I did with the companies. I put it all on the line. They want to know were there any lawsuits against me, with who, if there were, had I filed any lawsuits, where's the technology at? Not what I said, but provided the proof. Who all tested it, they verified it, verified with NDAs, emails, so that they can know there were certain things I could say and could not say without breaching the NDAs. My NDA with Ford Motor Company has already expired, so I can talk about Ford now. They only signed a 2-year NDA. I never signed a NDA with General Motors, so I can speak of General Motors. I never signed an NDA. No, I better be quiet. I might be lying if I say that. I can't remember I signed an NDA with Hyundai, or did I not? But I met with Hyundai vice president, their engineers, all of that. I got pictures. A lot of other folks took pictures with us. They took pictures with me. And I kept it real with them, told them where we were, where we are, and people respect that. But
if I'm hearing, kind of reading between the lines, then what you're saying, I just want to make sure I understand. I don't want to misrepresent it if I talk about it later. Is what you're saying is that we didn't necessarily invest in a bad company. What you're saying is the what they did, or the decisions that were made, or the leadership that was involved.
I think you invested in bad management. If you want to just simplify it, you invested in bad management. They made bad decisions.
Well, I guess that was the answer. Hey, thanks for taking the question.
Hey, Lawrence, to piggyback on that, do you feel that Jim Taylor is doing a really good job as operations?
I think Jim Taylor does whatever David tells him to do, and he stands by it. And he ain't going to speak up. He's not going to tell the truth, and he's not going to lie. He's just going to stay out of it.
So then, in your opinion, you feel that Jim was not going against David's directions. You feel that they were in synchronization.
You want me to tell you why I believe that?
Yes, I would like to know.
Because Jim knew the truth. And when all that stuff was going on, if he actually was the one running Mullens, I would have spoke up for Lawrence Harge. And since he didn't, that showed he never had my best interest. Even when he called me to do the EPA test and saying I would get paid and all of that, and my team, all of that, and had a representative call me, one of the ladies called me and said she had already talked to David. And David had her to call me. And then after I agreed to it, and they said they was going to get back with me and let me know the test date, I told them that not that week, but the week after we could do it. And they said because they had some other vehicles in Michigan that was at the EPA office being tested, okay? And they said they had to pencil me in. So it might be a week, might be a week and a half, maybe the week of the 15th, if my memory serves me right. They had nothing with me putting it off. And I said, oh, I'm okay with that. If y'all going to do right by me. And the lady said, yeah, I talked to David. He assured me he'll do right. And we even do another contract and make right wrong what we done. All of that was said to me. And I'd be damned the next day, somebody called me and said, hey, Lauren, did you see Mullens file an AK filing saying that they have no intention of doing any business with you? And I went saw it, and I texted James, and I asked him, what kind of game are y'all playing? He never responded. He said, maybe they don't want the shareholders to think that we about to do business with you, and it hurt the stocks even more. But if we do the EPA test, we'll announce that, and then everybody will be happy. I said, this is a game. I'm not doing it. And my team sent him an email and called him personally and told him I wasn't doing it. Now, why would we send an email saying we're not doing it if it never took place?
So I guess the EPA testing that you didn't, and I guess rightfully so, if they treated you that way, I don't know if I'd do it either. I was on that space call that you were on with Financial Journey or Cal and Sam, and the retail, including myself. We it was right before your dad passed away. Yes. It was a terrible trick, if it was a trick, to be playing on you. It doesn't. When you say management isn't good, I'm assuming you're talking about our CEO and our pseudo COO James Taylor. And I've never met any of these men.
Let me say this here too. Let me get this in. This is real juicy here. Okay. Before all the media took place, all the bad things, James Taylor called my team and told them that if I didn't stop talking about Mullens and what I was doing and what was going on, that they can put their thumb on me in the media and destroy me. And if I'm lying, the good Lord could take my whole family.
So did you just say that James Taylor threatened you,
He called my CEO.
Oh my.
And my president.
Well, so there's, the talk about David not being CEO or James not being in the leadership. Is there somebody there that, in your opinion, is worthy of that helm? I mean, what are we supposed to do? There's nothing we can do. And I'm not, I guess I ask you this question because there's no one else talking to us about this kind of stuff. Is there?
Well, they're not going to talk because what can they say?
Yeah,
if they tell the truth, it's going to hurt them.
Is there somebody there that you think would be good, already there, that would be good to lead Mullen?
I don't think anybody's going to do that unless David moves, because they're afraid of David.
Why?
I can't answer that question, but they're afraid of David. Nobody's going against him. The people who have voting rights, most of the people on his board is family members and close friends. They're not going to go against David. So I guess the major shareholders have to just say they're not happy and they want a new CEO. That'll change the thing. File new compliance with the SEC that there's new management. And I think people can recover their monies. I think the stocks will go up well. Bring in a CEO that's very credible in the country and bring in the right people of management to make sure those products they have get to the market, because they are products that did come from China. I hear people talk about it now. I knew those were rebranded products when I came to take the job. I knew Mullens didn't manufacture those trucks. Okay? So, why are they attacking Mullens now? Talk about they just buying Chinese vehicles and putting their logo on it. I thought the whole world knew that from the start. Well, so if I turn the trucks on, everything on the truck is in Chinese from the batteries on down. And that was one of the things I was questioning. How you expect me to advance this technology even more and nobody have blueprints, nobody have specs, everything is in Chinese? Did y'all know this before y'all got started? Y'all been doing this over 2 years before I came in. Nobody knows what nothing is. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
Come on.
I think the vast majority of us did know that. A lot of us just didn't want to talk about it. But going back to the, you said that they're afraid of him, but it doesn't sound like you're afraid of him. Why would his? I guess I don't
have a reason to be afraid of David. If you knew the people that's backing me now, you wouldn't be afraid either. Okay.
But you said his inner circle is afraid of him, though, and you said you can't talk on that. Like you don't know or you don't want to say. I guess.
All I'm gonna say, sir, and I'm not gonna go in no full detail. They are afraid of David. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I'm not trying to press you, but when you have all of us, there's not one person in this room that has invested in this company. Not one that is green on their investment. Zero. And so when you're trying to figure out what happened, like, am I stupid? Is everybody in this room stupid for what we did, or is there something else going on? And so given the opportunity,
never say that you're stupid for believing in something. That's kind of like you meet a girl and you think she's gonna be the one that you marry, and before a few months in a relationship, you come to find out that she's not the person. That don't make you stupid. It just shows you as human and you care and you wanted the best for you and her. So the Mullen investor that invested in Mullens, they believed they were investing in something good. They put their lives on the line. They put their family relationships on the line. I'm sure some of their wives or husbands probably saying, why are we putting all this money in this company? Do you really believe this is going to happen? And you base it on what you've seen, but not what you really knew about. Okay. And a lot of those engineers that's sitting in there, they know the truth. They're not going to say anything. So, they're scared. They need their jobs. I had discussions with them and I asked them about it, and they were just scared to talk. And they'll look around and see who's close by to hear what they have to say if they chose to give you an answer. I asked questions about some of these cars that they were bringing in, and I asked the pertinent question that I never see nobody ask. So I asked them, I said, if y'all been having these vehicles for 2 and 3 years, and you're going to be delivering to customers whatever it's going to be, it don't look like it's going to be in the next year. So, and you supposed to have all these vans that y'all say y'all have, then what year model are y'all going to be selling these vehicles to the customers? 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, or 2023, 24? Nobody had answers. Well, I just leave that up to management. I won't get into all of that. I said, because if the vehicle's sitting out there, if you look at them, they're already 2 or 3 years old. That means the components are 2, 3 years old that's in the vehicle. Am I correct?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yes, correct. The current ELMS inventory would have had depleted and exhausted battery packs.
So, And if you sell them with all these vehicles that came in with the battery packs, you're not changing them out. That means the customer gonna buy the vehicle, and there's gonna be a recall because the batteries ain't gonna be no good. So, but I leave that at that. You know, I just want to make sure y'all not talking to some guy that don't know batteries. I done stood up to the best of them. If you talk to the knocker and all them with Ford, they'll tell you that the man knows his stuff about energy, battery technology, and for him not to have a degree, he stands with guys that have degrees and PhDs and masters. They think I'm a brilliant guy, and they love working with me because they can interpret certain things that I do. I pass ideas, they put it together, and it works. And all I'm about is being successful. I don't need to have billions of dollars because I give it all away anyway to help people. I help people when I had very little. I helped them when I had enough, and I help them now when I'm truly blessed. So it's not about that. It's about doing what is right, and right will follow you. Okay? And all I ask David is, he got a chance. All he has to say, he could have said in James Taylor. Y'all didn't have to throw me under the bus. Now that I realize it just dawned on me that he had called me and told my friends that he could put his thumb on me and destroy me in the media. Now I have to believe you the one done all of that. Because there had to be somebody close to me. But neither with that. You could have walked away gracefully and say, you know, like my lawyers say, we just can't have a meeting of the minds with their lawyers. And they didn't feel good about the deal, even though they knew they had to be paid for all the time they invested. I walked away. That's it. Y'all didn't have to do that.
I'm almost afraid to even ask this. I'm not sure if I want to know the answer, and I might be putting you on the spot. And if you don't want to answer, that's fine. But do you feel that anything that has happened to you or to us as investors from this company has been criminal? I mean, and I mean that literally, not
malicious or intentional.
You know what? That's a good. I'm sorry, Fudd. I didn't. Yeah, intentional. Was it done to us intentionally? Thanks, Fudd.
Well, let me find the right words to say. I'm gonna answer your question. I would say this: you have to define it as whatever you want it to be. But when you withhold information from people who invested in you, you call it what you want to call it.
Thank you very much for that. Do you believe that this last attempt that they made this offer for you to come, you know, like you said, James Taylor's like, come do this testing. Do you think that was in some way a way for them to cover their ass if they were being investigated for that MAEO deal, to prove that they thought that the technology was legitimate when they made the announcement?
Well, they didn't make the announcement until after the independent test was done. You got it? They just made the announcement.
They know that your technology is 100%.
Yes, they made the announcements after that, but the problem was they hadn't paid me. And it appeared that I had took $5 million and ran off with it. When in fact I hadn't. I walked away because I hadn't gotten paid. Okay? And they knew the people believed in me. So if I was an investor, I would say Lawrence Hardge was a scumbag too, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying, and I apologize if I've been wrong because I've been pretty vicious about it. And but you've given us a lot of stuff to kind of track down, and I would appreciate, you know, as you do these lawsuits and that kind of stuff. You know, you talked about Nashville, and you talked about, you know, where that is. Like, are there any other circuits or whatever courts where you're filing?
I'm filing in the Mississippi courts. I'm ready to file lawsuits there. Also with the Mississippi Bar. And I'm about to file some lawsuits in Michigan. Those parties that conspire with everybody. And I'm going to get Washington, D.C. because they was really nice to me. They just didn't speak up. And the only thing I'm asking for Washington, D.C. is to tell the truth, that I didn't con them. They vetted me. I did not have a criminal record at the time. And 10 months later, when my record got expunged, the media made it look like I conned them out of a deal. If they don't fix it, I'm going to sue them too. for my losses.
Well, I guess, like, as you're going through that, like, because we all follow you every time. I mean, every time you said something, I'm the first one to jump on you. Usually pretty negative, so I'm gonna try to rein that back in. That's why you may or may not recognize my name. So, but if as you file lawsuits and that kind of stuff, if you throw on Twitter, we filed this in this court, because that's all public record. And
yes,
we'd love to follow it. We just don't know where to look when you're talking about a worldwide technology. So.
Well, I can see you. I don't mind seeing the case number. That ain't hard to do. You can follow it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We would love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll send you that, and you can follow, and then you'll hear the truth about my technology. All of that. But nobody puts that out there.
Well, and I guess that's what I'm kind of rooted in here, because how tragic would it be for Mullen and all of us who when you first came in, if you remember, I called you the Black Jesus. That's what I said. I said, Lawrence.
Man, I was so excited about Mullens, man. You have no idea. I feel like I had won the lottery when they was gonna give me carte blanche to be able to my technology. They was gonna provide R&D money. They formed the corporation, and I was gonna be able to bring those vehicles to compliance. Make sure these engineers do what they were supposed to do. Man, I was just elated.
And
man, I was just so happy, make you want to cry, man. And man, it's like I woke up one morning and is this all a dream?
Well, and you stated that they know your technology works. They were aware of that, and then they let you go. And if they
got the test results, the independent test company sent them the results independently, not from me, but from them.
Well, and if they knew that and they let you go, how could it not be intentional? And there's just so much misinformation out there, and like why would they let it go if they knew it worked? And it's just like, well, if it just
made me feel like after they made so much money in the stock market, and I hate to say this, they didn't give a damn about what happened next.
So they would have to be intentional, like they didn't want to deal with you, and then they let you go, and then all the rest of us here who, I lost faith in you. I'll admit it, and
it's okay. You had every reason. What I'm trying to say to you, sir. Let me be the one to say this. If any shareholders, investors look, however you felt about me, sometimes it hurts to hear it, but you had every reason to feel that way. So don't feel bad about it now that you know the truth, okay? Because if I was on the other side of the fence in your shoes and I invested in this company and somebody did what they alleged I done, I've been mad as hell too. Especially if I put $100,000 in something and now my stock's only worth $200-300. I would be a piece of crap and everything else. I would be you bashing that sucker. And that's why I kept saying, but I don't think they read between the lines. If you think I've done something wrong, subpoena me to court and I'll tell the truth, because they had me on a gag order. You got it? If you think I violated a federal law, have the FBI call me. If you think I've done something broke the state law, the Attorney General can call me. I'm just going to show them the facts. The only difference, if I'm called in between this phone call, I'm telling you the truth, but the law don't work on what you know. The law works on what you can prove. And what I just represented on these phone calls, I have the supporting documents to prove that I'm not lying. Okay? That's the difference.
Are you just holding those back now in preparation for having to defend yourself?
Yes, I am.
Why not
bring them? My lawyers got copies of it. Everybody got copies. And when it's time, they're going to reveal it. They're going to give these parties the opportunity to settle the matter, or they're going to go to court and they're going to be exposed, and it's going to ruin all of their lives.
So like it's that bad that like you have information that would just ruin all of Mullen if they don't settle. This is like, that doesn't feel good as an investor, you know.
I'm giving Mullens the opportunity to save them some money. It becomes the Mullen.
Oh no, I don't blame you. If I was you, I would do the same thing. Like, you have to do what's right for Mr. Hardge.
But I don't want to hurt. All I ask for Mullens, I don't want the $5 million. Make it clear, okay? Are you listening to me closely?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I don't want no money from Mullens. I'm blessed. God to replace Mullens with some people of integrity and that's doing the right thing. All I want James Taylor to do or David Mitry is tell the people that Lawrence Harge's product worked and that we didn't have a meeting of the minds and Harge walked away. We didn't fire him. He quit. And if they do that, I'll go away. You'll never hear me tweet nothing about Mullens from here on, okay? Now, I already gave you guys the solution to recoup your money. David needs to step down because he hurt a lot of good people, including me, that had a lot of love and respect for his company. I've lost all of that now.
Mr. Harge, we have Kendall who has a question for you.
Sure.
Hello, Lawrence. I'm Kendall Payne, and I'm one kind of like Wolfgang. I'm one of the ones that's been, in a sense, hounding you on Twitter in response to your posts. My own background is in physics and engineering, and so when you came on the scene with Mullen and started talking about your technology, and that was very interesting to me. It's one aspect of my background that I've enjoyed working with. That is claims about perpetual energy or energy creation devices or anything that can increase the efficiency of electric vehicles. And I know that there's a lot of complexity involved in these issues, which is why I prefer doing my discussion over writing rather than in talking.
That's good. That's good. But let me just intercept you just one moment, okay? My technology is not the only technology that has been created. There's some out there that work better than mine. I know for a fact because they had a head start to do their R&D. But Chevron bought those patents. Those people sold out, okay? And now that I mention this to you, if you do your homework, Chevron has bought over 160 energy patents, and they all on the shelf. And I'm not at liberty to say what I want to say, but I had oil companies to approach me, and I chose not to do that. Okay, but since you want to talk more, because hey, you might be somebody that can come on the team and be hired to help these guys advance the technology, what they're doing now, because there's plenty of resources there for R&D. I'm not on this phone saying I have a PhD and what you do or whatever. All I can say is I used what God-given talents I had. I made it work. I knew what nobody believed me saying what I had. So, like the companies, you can't knock them for that. And one good thing I say about Mullens, even before they gave me $50,000, they didn't give it to me before I proved the technology. They gave it after I proved the technology. And that was just to cover me until they negotiated the final payment of $5 million that I never received.
And I think that's actually the aspect of my question, or what I wanted to ask you about, is this whole proving thing. We know your story now that you share. We're thankful that you're able to clear up some of the behind the scenes governance management aspect of things. But it seems that the one aspect of your story that's still, to me, in my mind, lacking is the physics, the engineering, and technology side of things. You talked about the laws.
Sir, that's okay. That's lacking. But if I give you the whole, whatever the key elements of why it's doing what it's doing, then there would be no need for me to get paid from these major companies. Don't that make sense? Because I'm not an investor of Mullens. I have nothing to gain. And
I'm even asking about what happened from not even before you started with Mullens, because you were promoting this technology even before you had any association with Mullens. And
Yes, but I wasn't
so I
giving
was
the key
interested
secrets.
in.
I wasn't giving the key secrets though. I wasn't giving the key secret other than what the product done and what the test proven. I didn't go no further beyond what was proven. Okay, I don't want to talk about what wasn't independently tested. Okay, now when I tell you about the batteries rejuvenated itself, there was pictures taken of what the batteries done when they turn the cars off. There was pictures taken when they would go to start it up to recharge to see that it increased. All of that, okay? And if we talk to those engineers or whatever, they would tell you that Lawrence Hardge said, I don't know why it's doing that. But as we progress, we'll find out. But right now, I wasn't here to come to test perpetual energy. We came here to show that the technology improves the traveling distance under load, okay? Not like a 30-mile-an-hour Tesla dyno test with no lights on, no components on, and then you stick a sticker in the side of the window that says it gets 250 miles. Mine was tested at full throttle, once again, foot to the floor, and ran 26 hours, 26.6 hours. There's not a golf cart on the marketplace that could do that.
And I'm glad that you talk about the whole testing. But the thing is that, and I've been saying this again and again in my Twitter comments to you, is that you say a lot. But to me, it's a lot of hand waving of saying that you have these independent tests that have validated your technology. But over and over again, I have asked you and written pretty extensively to discuss. If you could, Harge, if you could let me.
No, I was going to say so I can cut this short. From an engineering specialist with a degree, I'm sure they can explain it better than I can. I'm not going to make myself look stupid and try to end up giving my secret sauce away without telling you actually a lot of things. I've already showed you what was involved with some of the things that we have that's not just a box with 2-3 wires running out of it. So I would recommend, honestly, and please, no disrespect, I'm not even that type of person. I would recommend that when whatever's going on here for this year, I would suggest if you have any questions, you talk to the engineering specialist who's getting paid the top dollars to take this to the next level versus because some of my engineers, let me explain something to you. I'm not going to get them in any trouble because some of them work for the big three. Some of them on strikes right now. And my job was a side deal for them to make money. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm not trying to be a disclaimer or dodge the question. Enough people have been hurt, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody else. Okay?
But again, it seems like that you are, in a sense, kind of kicking a can down the road for answering these kind of questions about.
I'm just not giving you my secret sauce. Now, you got $2-3 billion. You got $2-3 billion to pay me, like what we're working on. Man, I'll tell you everything you want to know, like I did with the company. Okay.
So it seems that you're just saying that you will not. So it seems that you're not willing to share unless someone.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'll let the companies do that. I'm being paid too much money to do that. Okay. You got any other questions? I'd be happy to answer, but we don't need to go back and forth with this one. I'm not going to do it. I got too much on the line.
So sir, I think if I can go back. Sorry?
So let's go ahead and move on to Das Mullen Reef. He's been waiting for a second.
Yeah, thanks for having me up. Hey, Lawrence, I got a question on, and thanks for being here, by the way. I got a question on why are you so caught up with Mullen if the technology is great and it works? Like, why isn't this being already used somewhere if the product works?
No, I don't care how much. It ain't about the product that it works. It's not even about the money. I'm upset with Mullens because they allowed me to be thrown under.
You just said it was about the money. You just said to Kendall that this is about your money.
I did. What did I just say, sir? No, they didn't pay me. That's okay. I went on. I moved on. I ain't been calling Mullen asking them to pay me. None of that.
Well, it's not about
Mullen
the money.
Mullen called me. Mullen
Why isn't
called
somebody
me.
using it?
We're not talking about the technology right now. I'm talking about Mullens could have stopped, prevented all this lambasting of Lawrence Hardge. Well, I'm out there. If you Google Lawrence Hardge, there's some ugly things out there being said about me that's not true. And I'm angry because just one little statement from David or James Taylor, and none of this would be out there. That's what I'm upset about. And I didn't.
Why
I could have come out.
Then why Mullen? Move on from Mullen. Sell it to somebody else. Why are you caught up with
Say
Mullen?
what now? Hold on, sir. I've been moved on from Mullen. That's why I made other deals. But in the meantime, I want Mullens them to fix it. After I learned who always taking bribes and doing this and that, and then after that, you call me Mullens. So you're not in that position. I didn't call Mullens. They called me. And I said, okay, I'll try to help because I don't got the text message, email from the shareholders. And then you tell me you want me to do another text, and then you bash me again, saying that you have no intention of doing a deal with me.
Hey, Lawrence.
Why did you call me if you was going to do
Lawrence,
that?
it's Dan Sanchez again. I have to come on here, bud, because I am with Mullen. So you're telling everybody here that we know your technology works and we don't want it. We don't want to make money. We don't want the investors to make money. Is that what you're saying?
No, absolutely not.
Look, you like being on your phone a lot and you like doing videos. Why don't you show everybody a video of how your stuff works in your own electric car? Show us those results.
I don't own the rights anymore. When I was doing it, you shut me down.
Who shut you down? Isn't this your stuff?
Mullens did.
Mullens did what?
Shut me down from doing everything.
So you're telling me that we don't allow you to videotape your own stuff?
Listen. Why don't you ask David? Why don't you ask David to have his lawyers to send you the 3 cease and desist letters they sent me?
Well,
and answer your own question.
No, I get that, and you're still out here talking about Mullen. You don't listen,
sir.
And I have no problem with
you
going
got
on,
hurt,
man.
If you got hurt like I did, if you Google, let's say you or
I'm
me.
not Googling your
Google
name.
You.
If that's what you want.
Okay, well, Google it.
Google your name.
Google it and see what's been said.
I'm going to Google your name. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Google my name and see what all been said, all because Mullen didn't stand up for me.
Well, it's not just Mullen. It's everybody else. And all you're doing here is acting like a victim.
They all conspired together. I got the proof. They all conspired together.
Acting like a victim this whole time. Oh, everybody's against me. Oh, I try to go
with
this
it wasn't
company,
everybody.
But
it was just about
everybody shut you down.
It was just 6 people, and we know who they are. Not everybody. And none of them was Mullen's investors. So let's get that straight. Not one Mullen investor did anything to hurt me. It's 6 people that I knew. Okay? And Mullens could have fixed that. Why let me waste all my money proving that the technology
Mullen is
works?
not doing anything with you is because we didn't get proof of anything. That last van, that one van that you say that we gave you, I set that up for you. I even spoke to you personally on the phone for like an hour.
Thank you, but at the end of the day, my engineers
up for you. I took a picture of it. I said, all right, brother, let's go. Let's do this. I was excited. I was a fan. Just like everybody else, man, I was a fan.
Were you there every night till 11 and 12 o'clock in the morning working on them vans?
I'm not an engineer. No, that's not my job. I wasn't.
Okay, well, my team was there. We were there every day till 12 or 1 o'clock at night working.
All right, let's make this real simple.
They wouldn't get paid for Mullen.
So you're telling me that your technology worked, and we know it, you know it, and we're just like, nah, we don't want billions.
So let me ask you something. So are you saying the independent test company fabricated the test results and sent it to Mullen?
We didn't accept them. Yes, we wanted you to do a test with certified people that we called out, and you didn't show up.
Why would I? You ain't paid me for what I did already.
$50,000 ain't paying you?
Man, I spent more than that bringing them engineers in. How about my $5 million? But I don't want it now.
Why would we give you $5 million when we don't have anything? We're not going to pay you unless we see something.
God, listen.
It's a lot different when somebody from Mullens on this space call, right?
I'm going to have me a good evening.
Of course you are.
All this belongs in court, okay? Not on social media. I just came out to let the folks know.
You came out to let the folks know that you're a victim and nothing's your fault.
No, I'm not saying whatever's my fault. My fault is trusting people too much.
Well,
you know what?
ultimately,
You know what
Dan,
morals and integrity is?
If Mullen was not aware that the technology worked, why did they announce the PR if they were not conclusive that the technology worked?
Yeah, make it make sense.
There's testing that was done, but we wanted our own testing.
Why was there a PR
There's always
release
questions to
bragging
everything.
about
We got to
their new
verify
cutting-edge battery
everything.
technology?
We got to verify everything, and there was more tests that we needed.
But PR
all of a
was
sudden,
released
nothing
before
happened.
there was verification.
Yeah, but we wanted more.
Independent verification, not my test, not my own personal test, which I done, but independent certified test. So
who was that company, Lawrence?
Ask Mullens. They got it all.
I'm asking you.
No, you asked Mullens. They didn't want it.
Exactly.
They don't. No.
Like I said, man, look, I gotta go. It's been 4 hours of this thing.
Please go, because you trying to protect Mullens, and I'm not going to lie.
Of course, I'm trying to protect Mullen, man.
Look what you're doing. Lie for you, and I'm not going to hurt these investors. Okay, and I'm not going to get mad and say something stupid. Okay. They made a damn fool out of me.
Something stupid.
And they made a damn fool out of me, and that's the end of the story, sir. I wish they'd have picked somebody else to use.
Integrity is, Lawrence?
Yeah, I know it is telling the truth. Something that they can't seem to do.
Does your record show that you've been telling the truth about anything?
They letting people out of prison every day that's been wrongfully convicted for 20, 30, 40 years, and they found
bringing up this color thing. David's a person of color. I'm a person of color. Man, it's not about
it was racism. Nobody said nothing about racism.
You said earlier that you're a person that you're. Trust me, I've been listening to you, man. Everybody has.
Only thing what I said. Forget about this. I said the worst racist in this country is my own people, black folks who don't want to see their own kind make it. The people that's paying me, they ain't black. Black folks ain't got that kind of money. So let's clear that up. And if I was a racist, I wouldn't be crying with some of the white folks that called me saying they don't lost
no one called you a racist, man. I know you're not like
okay. Well, I'm going to get off this phone, and I'm wishing the best for the shareholders. If I can't help you, I ain't going to do nothing to hurt you. But I'm telling you this, since you're going to take it there, David better do something very soon to help them shareholders, or it's not going to be good.
I speak to the shareholders every single day, man. I know how they feel. I know what they're going through.
I appreciate you coming up and speaking with us today. Okay, man?
Thank you. Y'all in the call.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Thank you, Lawrence Harge, for stopping by. And of course,
it's crazy.
Dan
I go
knows,
on now. He wants to end this conversation. Ain't that something?
Dan, just like everybody else over here, knows that Mayo deal was set up so Mishry could get those awarded shares. And he was going to kick some of that money back to Lawrence Harge. And then he just threw him under the bus. He got about 12% out of the stock price by using Lawrence Harge. And you are just as complicit in this as anybody else, Mr. Dan Sanchez. Thank you for admitting you are here on behalf of Mullen tonight.
See you, Lawrence.
I'm hanging up now.
Take it easy, Lawrence.